The logo, in the form of a galloping horse, symbolizes loyalty, industriousness, and swiftness. Late A. Shamarao visualized that education is the only means to the development of mankind and the society. The dream of the ideal teacher, A. Shamarao, was made a reality by his noble son, Sri C.A. Raghavendra Rao, by establishing the A. Shamarao Foundation in the year 1988, which sponsors the Srinivas group of colleges, offering professional education in the fields of medicine, dentistry, management, physiotherapy, hospitality sciences, business management, computer application, allied health sciences, engineering, pharmacy, nursing, education, etc. Dr. A. Srinivas Rao, the Pro-Chancellor of Srinivas University, is a very able administrator who closely follows in the footsteps of his eminent father. His persistence and determination has taken the university to the present standards, and he cherishes a dream of lofty standards for the university in the near future. Sri C.A. Raghavendra Rao established the A. Shamarao Foundation to achieve his stated aim of transforming society through quality education, which will be in harmony with the social, economic, and ecological environment. This firm belief was the driving force which created the Srinivas group of colleges under the umbrella of A. Shamarao Foundation. Sri C.A. Raghavendra Rao has a unique and focused approach towards life. He dons different hats in his service to the cause of nation building. He is a successful chartered accountant with offices in 7 cities across India. He is a hotelier par excellence who has created one of the finest and first 3-star hotel with a vegetarian restaurant as its hallmark. His most notable contribution has been in molding the careers of thousands of students through a chain of colleges imparting professional education. His dedication and excellence in his field makes him a completely reliable person, and hence he has set an example to his clients, staff, students, and admirers. A. Shamarao Foundation's Srinivas group of colleges is an endeavor to develop a center of excellence, imparting quality education to generate competence and skill to meet the scientific, technological, managerial, and socio-economic challenges. The group, in its tridecennial milestone serving mankind, manages a plethora of institutes that are striving hard to innovate and improve the quality of education system. Excellence, which will deliver professional manpower to the industry and the nation at large, is a hallmark of Srinivas group of colleges. The group has constantly strived to provide the best of the faculty members and state-of-the-art facilities. The students are encouraged and supported not only to excel in academics, but also to develop their personality through co-curricular, extracurricular activities and other extension activities. Srinivas Institute of Technology, affiliated to VTU Belagavi, offers engineering education in a premium setting at Vadachil. Srinivas College of Pharmacy is a well-known and recognized college offering numerous courses in the field of pharmacy. Srinivas Institute of Nursing Sciences attracts students from all over the country for its nursing courses. Srinivas Institute of Medical Sciences and Research Center is a premier institute in the field of medicine with an attached high-tech super specialty hospital. Srinivas Institute of Dental Sciences, based in Mukka, offers UG courses in the field of dentistry. Srinivas School of Architecture is much sought after for its unique course structure. Srinivas University, Mangalore, is a private research university in Mangalore, Karnataka, India, established in 2013 by Karnataka State Act. Presently, Srinivas University offers undergraduate, postgraduate, and research courses under 8 faculties or colleges with more than 70 courses. The university made innovations in designing and starting new super specialty programs both in UG and PG level as per present and future industry relevance. Innovations in examination system through focus on continuous evaluation and to make it foolproof. The university has established networking with many industries, universities, and education service providers to substantially improve the quality and weightage of the courses and degrees respectively. Presently, Srinivas University has 8 departments offering innovative, industry-oriented specialized courses of UG, PG and research levels. College of Hotel Management and Tourism offers 3-year and 4-year courses in the field of hotel management. College of Physiotherapy offers UG and PG courses and is recognized as a premier research institute. College of Computer and Information Sciences offers BCA and MCA courses in computer application, along with BSc courses in filmmaking and animation in association with iNurture. College of Business Management and Commerce stands first in the field of research with numerous publications to their credit. College of Social Sciences and Humanities offers PG courses and research opportunities in the field and is also supported by CIRA, an NGO run by the foundation. College of Education trains the teachers of tomorrow. College of Allied Health Sciences, based at Mukka, offers 9 courses in the field as well as forensic science. College of Engineering and Technology offers UG, PG and doctoral programs in the field of engineering at Mukka. Education is our passion, not profession. And based on this, our guiding principle is that continuous improvement is the only way to success. Srinivas University believes that students are the cream of the society, and as its valuable customers, they deserve the best. The curricular, co-curricular, and infrastructural support it provides to the students is just an expression of this belief. Industriousness and swiftness. Late A. Shamarao visualized that education is the only means to the development of mankind and the society. The dream of the ideal teacher, A. Shamarao, was made a reality by his noble son, Shri C.A. Rao. transforming society through quality education, which will be in harmony with the social, economic, and ecological environment. This firm belief was the driving force which created the Srinivas group of colleges under the umbrella of A. Shamarao Foundation. Shri C.A.A. Raghavendra Rao has a unique and focused approach towards life. He dons different hats in his service to the cause of nation building. He is a successful chartered accountant with offices in 7 cities across India. He is a hotelier par excellence who has created one of the finest and first 3-star hotel with a vegetarian restaurant as its hallmark. His most notable contribution has been in molding the careers of thousands of students through a chain of colleges imparting professional education. His dedication and excellence in his field makes him a completely reliable person, and hence he has set an example. Professional manpower to the industry and the nation at large is a hallmark of Srinivas Group of Colleges. The group has constantly strived to provide the best of the faculty members and state-of-the-art facilities. The students are encouraged and supported not only to excel in academics, but also to develop their personality through co-curricular, extracurricular activities and other extension activities. Srinivas Institute of Technology, affiliated to VTU Belagavi, offers engineering education in a premium setting at Vadachil. Srinivas College of Pharmacy is a well-known and recognized college offering numerous courses in the field of pharmacy. Srinivas Institute of Nursing Sciences attracts students from all over the country for its nursing courses. Srinivas Institute of Medical Sciences and Research Center is a premier institute in the field of medicine with an attached high-tech super specialty hospital. Srinivas Institute of Dental Sciences, based in Mukka, offers UG courses in the field of dentistry. Srinivas School of Architecture is much sought after for its unique course structure. Srinivas University, Mangalore, is a private research university in Mangalore, Karnataka, India, established in 2013 by Karnataka State Act. Presently, Srinivas University offers undergraduate, postgraduate, and research courses under 8 faculties or colleges with more than 70 courses. The university made innovations in designing and starting new super specialty programs both in UG and PG level as per present and future industry relevance. Innovations in examination system through focus on continuous evaluation and to make it foolproof. The university has established networking with many industries, universities, and education service providers to substantially improve the quality and weightage of the courses and degrees respectively. Presently, Srinivas University has 8 departments offering innovative, industry-oriented specialized courses of UG, PG and research levels. College of Hotel Management and Tourism offers 3-year and 4-year courses in the field of hotel management. College of Physiotherapy offers UG and PG courses and is recognized as a premier research institute. College of Computer and Information Sciences offers BCA and MCA courses in computer application along with BSc courses in filmmaking and animation in association with iNurture. College of Business Management and Commerce stands first in the field of research with numerous publications to their credit. College of Social Sciences and Humanities offers PG courses and research opportunities in the field and is also supported by CIRA, an NGO run by the foundation.
Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. Let me quote on today's theme, Budget 2022, Voice of Young India on Union Budget, a panel discussion. A few pounds of rice from paddy that is harvested from a small piece of land would suffice for an elephant. But what if the elephant itself enters the field and starts eating? What it eats would be far lesser than what it would trample over. As we ponder on this thought, I, Prima D'Souza, from Srinivas University, extend a warm welcome to each and everyone gathered here for this program on Union Budget 2022. Let me quote again the famous statement by Finance Minister Nirmala Sitharaman. Piniyanam Selvam Villaipam Imam Eniyampa Natif Vaidundu. It means five jewels for a good country are to be free from epidemic, be wealthy, agriculture, people must be happy, and security for the country must be the top priority. Our young and energetic students from first year MBA have prepared a small presentation on their perspective on Union Budget 2022 through learning and various analysis. Let us all have a glimpse of their presentation.
Thank you, ma'am. Good afternoon to everyone gathered here and watching online. Myself, Abdul Muiz, and my fellow mates from MBA first year are here to present our student perspective on the union budget. Madam Nirmala Sitharaman is the first female finance minister of India. On 1st of February 2022, she presented the union budget of 2022-23. To give an insight, as we all know, a budget is a financial plan for a defined period, often 1 year. It may also include planned sales volume and revenues, resources quantities, costs and expenses, assets, liabilities, and cash flow. The Union Budget of India also refers to the annual financial statement in Article 112 of the Constitution of India. I would like to give a quick glance on the broad areas covered in this year budget. Now I request Meghana to take over.
Thank you, Abdul, for a brief introduction. Good afternoon, everyone. Myself, Meghana Bandari. Before I start, I thank Dean and the faculties for giving us the opportunity. I will be presenting our presentation. Union Budget 2022. Budget 2022 at a glance. Here we have Finance Minister Srimati Nirmala Sitharaman. Union Budget 2022. On 1st Feb 2022, Union Finance Minister Srimati Nirmala Sitharaman presented her fourth budget speech. The finance minister said that India's growth estimated to be at 9.2%, higher among all large economies. Finance Minister Nirmala Sitharaman allocated a total of 17,250 crores to Ministry of External Affairs in the Union budget for the next fiscal, out of which rupees 6,292 crores is for development assistance to countries in India's neighborhood as well as Africa and Latin America. Main concepts under budget 22: tax, followed by infrastructure, agriculture, defense, health, education, and digital development. As we know, in budget 2022, tax was the hottest topic, if I have to say. Let's see what are the major changes in tax. No changes in income tax slab rate 2022-23. Individuals can follow old regime as well as the new regime. Tax relief to persons with disabilities. Provisions to file an updated return on payment of additional tax. Virtual digital asset to be taxed at 30%. Gift of virtual asset will be taxed at the end of receiver's end. Tax deduction limit for state government employee contribution to NPS raised to 14% from 10%. Long-term capital gain to be subject to surcharge only at 15% for all the assets. Cooperative society will have to pay an only 15% alternative minimum tax, that is AMT. Let's see how it affected the indirect tax, that is goods and services tax, GST. The finance minister announced the revenue has been optimistic despite the pandemic, and even saw a record collection of 1.38 lakh crores gross GST revenues in January 2022. Union Budget 2022 proposed certain amendments to the Central Goods and Service Tax, that is CGST. The deadline for amendments, corrections, uploading of missed sales tax, and claiming the missed input tax credit, that is ITC, to be done on 30th November the following year instead of 30th September. Now I would like to ask Satyajit to take over the presentation.
Thank you, Meghana. Good afternoon. So, as we can see that we are discussing about the 2022 budget, which was presented by our Honorable Finance Minister Nirmala Sitharaman on 1st Feb. So, I'm going to discuss about the infrastructure part, which is one of the most important. So, as we can see that PM Gati Shakti National Master Plan at cost of rupees 20,000 crores. PM Gati Shakti is a transformative approach for economic growth and sustainable development. The approach is driven by 7 engines: roads, railways, airports, ports, mass transport, waterways, and logistic infrastructure. These 7 engines are supported by the complementary roles of energy transmission, IT communication, bulk water, and sewage and social infrastructure. National highways network to be expanded by 25,000 km in 2022. The budget outlay for the Ministry of Road Transport and Highways has risen 68.5% to rupees 1.9 trillion, compensating for 2 lost years of capacity expansion in the transportation sector. Finance Minister announced a massive increase in the government's allocation for the roads and railways in her budget. 200 allocation of government's flagships scheme for rural roads, the Gram Sadak Yojana, have risen to rupees 19,000 crore from 15,000 crore. National Master Plan and will be formulated on in 2022. PM Gati Shakti Master Plan for Expressway will be formulated 2022 to 23, facilitate faster movements of people and goods. The National Highway Network will be expanded by 25,000 km in 2022. 400 new generation Vande Bharat trains to be manufactured in next 3 years. Union Budget 2022 to 23, Finance Minister Nirmala Raman allocated rupees 1,40,367.13 crores to the Ministry of Indian Railway in the fiscal union budget for the upgradation of the Indian Railway. Finance Minister said that India will manufacture 400 new 400 new energy efficient Vande Bharat trains in the next 3 years. The 400 will be in addition to 102 Vande Bharat trains already in the pipeline. One product, one station. The concept based on the successful one district, one product scheme has been introduced with a focus on promoting the supply chain of local products. Using the railway and making each railway station a promotional hub and showcase destination for a local product, it will likely help to develop more efficient logistic for farmers and agri-based enterprise and present unique religion product to wide audience. Thank you. Now I would like to call Akshar to explain the next slide. Thank you.
Good afternoon, everyone. My name is Akshar. I'm presenting the agricultural sector of Union Budget 2022. The Union Budget 2022 presented by our Honorable Finance Minister Srimati Nirmala Raman in Lok Sabha on February 1st. It is mainly focused on ensuring assured income of farmers with an announcement of 2.37 lakh crore towards to direct payment minimum support price, that is MSP, to wheat and paddy farmers. This payment would be made over the next year, April 2022-2023. She also announced the plan to promote oil seeds cultivation to reduce the import dependency and for promotion of millets production with emphasis of export. And also, she said government would be promote chemical-free natural farming throughout the country to boost the sustainable agricultural productivity and income of the farmer. She also announced the government would promote use of Kisan drones for a crop assessment and spraying pesticides, and also she said digitization of land record would be expected to bring more transparency in agricultural sector. Srimati Nirmala Sitharaman also announced Kin Betwa River linking project, that is linking river of Yamuna. She said the project would be undertaken at the cost of rupees 44,000 crore. She said this project would be benefit for 9 lakh farmers. She also said the draft DPR, that is digitalized project report for 5 reverse links, have been finalized. This is significant in the infrastructure fund, it increased rupees 200 crore to 500 crore from last year to this year. The 1 lakh crore IIF, as I mentioned earlier, AIF was announced in May 2020 as part of the Atmanirbhar Bharat Abhiyan and was meant for spending over the subsequent 6 years. Thank you, one and all. The next session will presentation will take Mr. Srilal. Thank you, one and all.
Thanks, Akshar. Good afternoon, everyone. My name is Srinivas. I'm here to take the 2022 defense budget. Indian Defense Budget 2022. Previous year, 2021, the defense budget was approximately $66.9 billion. So we can see an increase of 13% in defense budget if we compare with other sectors. First one, 68% of capital procurement budget estimated for domestic procurement. The present government is focusing more on domestically produced weapons and other such systems, etc. because India is a major importer of weapons from countries such as US, Russia, France, etc. This makes 60% of weapons inventory of Indian armed forces are of Russian origin. There are some of the reasons why the government is focusing to be self-dependent in manufacturing defense products domestically in India. Defense R&D to be opened up for private startup and private industries and academy. Presently in India, the major contribution of R&D, also known as research and development, is done by DRDO, also known as Defense Research and Development Organization. That the government make sure they invite more private companies to partnership with DRDO, absorb the technology under transfer of technology, and manufacture the defense product under joint venture with DRDO. The budget focused more on research and development. Approximately 25% of the new budget is set upon research and development. Presently, the government is focusing more on R&D on artificial intelligence, geospatial, drone semiconductors, space economy, etc. Regarding with this, the budget allocation for pensions are neither decreased nor decreased. So mostly the defense budget of 2022 are more towards procurement of new weapons and etc. Some of the major procurement in the future will be nuclear submarines, main battle tank, fighter jets, naval ships, and production of AK-203 rifles manufactured in India with transfer of technology from Russia. That's all. Thank you. I request Revati to take over.
Thank you, Srilal. Good afternoon, everyone. Myself, Revati. I'll be taking the health sector of Union Budget 2022. The Union Budget 2022-2023, Finance Minister Nirmala Sitharaman has allocated the budget of 86,606 crore for healthcare. So it is about 16.59% more than the previous year estimate of 73,931 crore. Moving on to the schemes of Union Budget, National Digital Health Ecosystem to be rolled. The healthcare industry focuses more on implementing efficient and effective healthcare delivery system. National Tele-Mental Health Program. This was announced as the COVID-19 pandemic has elevated the mental health of public so as to promote better access to quality health, counseling and care service. National Tele-Mental Health Program was announced. This will include 23 mental health center of excellence. Benefits to women and children through Mission Shakti, Mission Valsalya Section, Anganwadi and Poshan 2.0, 60,000 crore under Har Ghar Nal Se Jal to cover 3.8 crore households in 2022. Under Jal Jeevan Mission, Har Ghar Nal Se Jal scheme was introduced with an aim to provide every household with tap water connection in order to reduce the burden of fetching water from different places. Now I'd like to move on to education sector. The Education Union Budget 2022 has been allocated rupees 1,04,278 crore. Digital university to be set up and to be made in different Indian language. The major announcements were made for the education sector from the launch of digital university to the expansion of PM
initiate digital university program as they believe that the government has highlighted the digitalization in order to boost online education and access to education across the country. The education budget focused mainly on digital education, the creation of digital university, job creation, agricultural universities, skill development of programmers, etc. This year's allocation wasn't able to go back to the level of 2020-2021 even after a hike of more than rupees 6,000 crore. A loan of USD 500 million has been taken from Asian Development Bank for funding Samagra Shiksha Abhiyan and creating exemplar schools. Thank you. I'd like to request Meghna to take the next session.
Thank you, Revati. Next slide, digital development. Before I begin, the Union Budget 2022 was presented in a digital tab. So she is promoting our Finance Minister Nirmala Sitharaman is promoting the digital sector. We'll see what is there. RBI to introduce digital rupee using blockchain technology in 2022-2023. 75 digital banking units to be set up across 75 districts. E-passports with implant chip and futuristic technology to be rolled out. Unique land parcel identification number of IT-based management of land records. Cryptocurrency income will be taxed at the rate of 30%. MSME, that is micro, small and medium enterprise, contribute enormously to the economic and social evolution of the country by promoting entrepreneurship and generating employment opportunities. The Union Budget 2022-23 highlights the MSME sectors, a vital sector that makes up about 45% of the country's total manufacturing output, 40% of exports, and almost 30% of national GDP. The country's fiscal deficit is projecting to be high at 6.9 against 6.8 estimated earlier, with Finance Minister Srimati Nirmala Sitharaman emphasizing the need for strong and sustainable growth through and public investments. In boost of electric vehicle industry, the government will bring a battery swapping policy in a view of space constraints for setting up charging stations. The policy will facilitate faster rollout of battery swapping centers where EV owners would be able to refuel the EV by replacing the exhausted batteries with the charged ones. The announcement of heavy tax on cryptocurrency income has come as a big disappointment for crypto investors, as Finance Minister Srimati Nirmala Sitharaman also gave no relief in case of losses. No deduction will respect to expenditure or allowance shall be incurred bearing the cost of acquisition. The loss from the transfer of crypto or any digital asset cannot be set off against any other income. Thank you.
Truly, it is well presented and prepared. Thank you, students, for adding an extra flavor of insight in today's program.
An integral wholeness. Jnana is a process of learning to discriminate between what is right and what is not, what is real and what is not. Through a steady advancement in realization of the distinction between the good and the evil, the real and the unreal, one develops into a jnani. The logo, in the form of a galloping horse, symbolizes loyalty, industriousness and swiftness. Late A. Shamarao visualized that education is the only means to the development of mankind and the society. The dream of the ideal teacher, A. Shamarao, was made a reality by his noble son, Shri C.A. Raghavendra Rao, by establishing the A. Shamarao Foundation in the year 1988, which sponsors the Srinivas group of colleges, offering professional education in the fields of medicine, dentistry, management, physiotherapy, hospitality sciences, business management, computer application, allied health sciences, engineering, pharmacy, nursing, education, etc. Dr. A. Srinivas Rao, the Pro-Chancellor of Srinivas University, is a very able administrator who closely follows in the footsteps of his eminent father. His persistence and determination has taken the university to the present standards, and he cherishes a dream of lofty standards for the university in the near future. Sri C.A. Raghavendra Rao established the A. Shamrao Foundation to achieve his stated aim of transforming society through
Kindly be seated. Welcome brings the best cheer, and to bring happiness and contentment, may I now request Professor Keertan Raj, Dean of College of Management and Commerce, to introduce and welcome the honorable dignitaries on the dais.
A very good afternoon to all the dignitaries on and off the dais. It gives me immense pleasure to deliver the welcome address on this august occasion. As a university, we are best blessed to have the patronage and continued guidance of our Honorable Chancellor, Dr. C.A. Raghavendra Rao, as a doyen of inspiration in all our endeavors. We welcome him in absentia, though he'll be joining us very shortly. Our young and energetic Honorable Pro-Chancellor, Dr. A. Srinivas Rao, however busy, leaves no stone unturned in providing us the much needed encouragement and the direction. We welcome him as well, Dr. A. Srinivas Rao, in absentia, though we expect him very shortly. Madam Srimati Vijayalakshmi R. Rao is the Director, Srinivas Group of Colleges, and a source of motherly patronage to us all. We welcome you, ma'am, in absentia. The young and dynamic Madam Srimati Mitra S. Rao, Secretary A. Shamrao Foundation, is again a very constant source of motivation to all of us at the university, and we welcome you, Madam, in absentia. Our beloved Vice Chancellor, Professor Dr. P.S. Aital, is an ace administrator, an avid researcher, and an enthusiastic educationist. He is a continuous force behind each and every one of our activities. Armed with multifaceted qualifications of a BSc degree, an MSc degree, 2 PhDs, an MSc in e-business, MIT in information technology, MTech in information and technology, postdoctoral fellow in quantum optics division from Ahmedabad, India, as well as a postdoctoral fellow of Creole University of Central Florida in USA, and management teachers program award holder in strategic management, as well as a DSc holder. Sir has been at the helm of affairs for the last more than 2 decades now as an able administrator and a sculptor of the various programs at Srinivas University. And even currently, for the third consecutive year, he was ranked #1 in SSRN's world rankings of research papers. I would take this opportunity to thank you for taking time out of your really busy schedule all the time, sir, and I warmly welcome you to this budget analysis program. I request Professor Amit Menezes to florally welcome Professor Dr. P.S. Aital. We are privileged to have the presence of esteemed eminent personalities as panelists today for our budget analysis. Each of them is so busy in their own plethora of activities, but at the behest of our call, they have made time to be here with us and share their insights on the Union Budget 2022. Mr. S.S. Naik is the Chartered Accountant practicing in Mangalore for the last 3 decades and also has associates in Udupi and Bangalore. He has completed his Chartered Accountancies from Messrs. C.L. Agarwal and Company, Mumbai, and LLB degree in General from Bombay University. Founder of the reputed educational institute Expert Coaching Classes, he is also the immediate past president of ICAI Mangalore chapter. visited numerous countries on professional assignments. He has authored 2 books, Words of the Wise and More Words of the Wise. He is a guest faculty for ICAI in India and abroad, and also for premium management institutions, various banks, and MSME forums. He has presented papers in national level seminars and proudly mentored more than 25,000 MSME entrepreneurs in the last 33 years of his profession in India and abroad, continuously delivering lectures in TV channels, All India Radio, and other forums on topics of NRI investment, entrepreneurship development skills, FDI in India, union budget, women empowerment, do's and don'ts of business, economic and taxation matters. He has delivered lecture on NRI taxation and FDI at the Institute of Chartered Accountants of India, Muscat chapter as well. He has forums in newspapers and ICAI bulletins on economics, taxation, and MSMEs and startups. He is a resource person in various national seminars and webinars, and he was the Harsha Varada Vyakti in All India Radio. He has also addressed the world famous Akka Sammelana, which was held in Dallas, USA in 2018, and also at Washington, D.C., USA. He has been bestowed with the prestigious KBL Nitte Lifetime Achievement Award and Nitte KBL MSME Ratna Award for mentoring thousands of MSMEs. He is also the mentor of the Atal Incubation Center Nitte, set up by the Niti Aayog. Presently advisor to the Board of Expert Institutions, Sir has also been awarded the Lifetime Achievement Award for mentoring thousands of MSME startups at the HDFC BCCI MSME Conclave held at Kurla, Mumbai in 2019. He is the initiator and anchor of the popular program in Namakudla 24/7 channel, Business Tonic, every Sunday, which has successfully completed 124 episodes. He has also been awarded the Samajaratna Prashasti, and he has also been awarded the Basavashri Prashasti at the Akhila Bharata Vaccination Sahitya Sammelana held at Mangalore. Mahaposhaka of the Mangalore Productivity Council, co-convener of the BJP Economic Cell Dakshin Kannada District. He is also the Vice President of the Organizing Committee of the GSP Vishwa Sammelana held in 2016, where 1 crore was contributed to the Army Welfare Fund. CA SS Naik's family consists of 5 members, of which 4 are also chartered accountants. I really welcome you to this August gathering, sir, and I think no words are short in explaining your brilliance to the audience. I request the Honorable Vice Chancellor to kindly florally welcome CA SS Naik. Professor Manoj Lewis is a person who needs no introduction in academic circuits. He's a very well-known figure in the academic circles of Mangalore. He is currently serving as an assistant professor in Government First Grade College, Kaur. Sir is an authority on various topics in accountancy and taxation, and he shares his resourcefulness in judging various management events. As a resource person in conducting hosts of faculty development programs, workshops, and teaching faculty seminars, symposiums, and guest talks. We are privileged to have him with us as our moderator also for this session. A very warm welcome to you, sir. And I request Professor Amit Menezes to florally welcome Professor Manoj Lewis. Dr. Narayan Kayarkate is an academician and a management consultant from Mangalore. He retired recently as Director, MSNM Besant Institute of PG Management Studies, Mangalore, where he served for 9 years as the head of the institute. Prior to that, he had worked as principal and campus head of ICFAI for their regular MBA programs from 2004 to 2010. Presently, Sir is also a research professor at Srinivas University, guiding 8 PhD scholars. He is also an academic advisor to the Trisha Group of Institutions and certified financial resource person of SEBI. Dr. Narayan is an MBA and law graduate and has National Institute of Technology, Surathkal. Sir started his career in Syndicate Bank and held various positions at a senior level as Deputy Divisional Manager, Chief Manager, Principal, Faculty of the Staff Training College, and the Deputy Chief Personnel Manager. He has also worked for a brief period as a consultant advocate in a multinational management and law firm, Singhania and Company, Bangalore, and handled cases in tribunals and high courts. Thereafter, he joined NITK and entered the academic field. He has presented papers in national and international conferences and published articles in reputed journals. Sir has authored a book on modern banking and has conducted many career development workshops for students at different levels. We warmly welcome you, sir. I request Professor Amit Menezes to once again plurally welcome Dr. Narayan Karkati. Dr. Sharat Chandra Rao is the founder and CEO of Brohat Energy Solutions and Technologies Private Limited. Brohat Energy manufactures electronic products engaged in solar power and solar street light systems. In addition, Brohat Energy installs and services solar power systems, both off-grid and grid-tied, solar street light systems and solar pumping systems. Dr. Rao has been active in the area of renewable energy technology and energy policy for the last more than 2 decades. Before taking his role, he worked as a senior research scientist at the Center for Study of Science, Technology and Policy, CSTEP, in the field of solar and energy policy, where he was engaged with the Niti Aayog, Energy Department, Government of Karnataka, to name a few. He has also consulted with the World Bank and the Asian Development Bank. Dr. Rao holds a bachelor's degree in mechanical engineering from Mysore University, is a master's in mechanical engineering from the University of South Florida, and is a PhD in energy and environmental policy from the University of Delaware, US. Though an enthusiastic person in the current focus, which is really needing our attention, which is renewable energy, he has taken time off his again busy schedule to be with us today. A very warm welcome to you, sir. I once again request Professor Menezes to kindly do the honors of floral welcome. Shri, Shri P.B. Harish Rai is a well sought out and very well known senior journalist with more than 26 years of journalism experience. Presently, Sir is with Vijayawani Bureau. Previously, Sir was associated with Hosadiganta, Usha Kiran, Udayawani and Vijaya Karnataka as a reporter and sub-editor. He is recently a recipient of the Samaj Ratna Award by the Dhyana Mandara Academy, Bangalore. He has received more than 50 awards throughout his career spanning close to 33 decades from various institutions and bodies in the undivided Dakshin Kannada district. He has served as a vice president and secretary post in the Mangalore Press Club, and he was also the recipient of the Rajyotsava Award in 2012, the KBG Sulya Yuva Award recipient, as well as he has been an active participant, and I think it is a very famous figure that we would see very frequently in most of the events in and around Mangalore. And he participates in various activities related to Dakshin Kannada district and is a noted personality of eminence. Though a topic of union budget may be something different, but we really appreciate you taking time off your schedule to be with us today. A very warm welcome to you, sir. I request Professor Amit Menezes to again do a formal welcome to Sri Harish Rai. The sixth panelist that we have today is Sri Dharmendra B. Mehta. Though he will be joining us in a short while, he had to take a quick visit to Mumbai and is on his flight back to Mangalore. He commenced his working life as a chartered accountant with additional qualifications in cost accounting and a Bachelor of General Law. He enjoyed a bureaucratic life in the IRS, the Indian Revenue Service, having qualified in 1990 batch of civil services examination. After a decade-long career as an IRS officer, he embraced the opportunities of financial markets and investments and challenges of independent entrepreneurship by establishing a firm by name Allegro Ventures Private Limited. laterally inducted as the president of the Canara Builders Association, and he has been the president of the board of the Mangalore Stock Exchange for a long time, and a two-term elected director on the board of the Interconnected Stock Exchange of India, Mumbai. He has also served as the chairman and two-term president of CREDAI Mangalore. Currently, Mr. Mehta is the vice president of CREDAI Karnataka and is also the chairman of the India Green Building Council, Mangalore chapter, and who is contributing significantly as an independent director, state government appointed, in the Mangalore Smart City project. He is an active member on the advisory formations for infrastructure development in Mangalore. And we would be privileged to have him with us in a short while from now. I would also like to place on record a hearty welcome to the registrars of Srinivas University, principals, deans of various colleges of Srinivas University and Srinivas Group, the faculty fraternity, and my dear students. Warmest wishes of welcome also goes to the participants from the press and media, technical staff, and all the participants watching the program live currently.
It is indeed a privilege, by the presence of our Honorable Chancellor, Dr. C.A. Raghavendra Rao, Honorable Pro-Chancellor, Dr. A. Srinivas Rao, and Ms. Meghana. I welcome you all, and I request our Honorable Vice Chancellor, Dr. P.S. Aitan, to deliver a welcome note.
Good afternoon, everyone. Honorable Chancellor of Srinivas University, Dr. C.A. Raghavendra Rao, Honorable Pro-Chancellor of Srinivas University and CEO of Srinivas Group of Institutions, Dr. A. Srinivas Rao, the special guests, CAA S.S. Nayak, Chartered Accountant, Professor Narayana Bhatt, academician and ex-banker, Mr. P.B. Harish Rai, senior reporter of Udayavani, Dr. Sharath Rao, industrialist, Professor Manoj Louis, session coordinator and moderator of this panel discussion of Budget 2022, Voice of Young India of Union Budget 2022, Miss Meghana S. Rao, young administrator who has completed her BCom this year and completed her CA intermediate and now preparing and writing for CA final. She is of your batch students. Here our students are of first year MBA, completed their graduation recently and joined for MBA. You have one more friend, an young budding entrepreneur and a chartered accountant, budding chartered accountant. He is also with you. So I welcome all of you to this program once again, even though a formal welcome is completed for other dignitaries as well as our participants, members of press media already. So before going to the official inaugural session of this panel discussion, I would like to introduce our Honorable Chancellor to my students. We had first program for our first year MBA as orientation program. Usually for orientation program, we used to invite Honorable Chancellor and Pro-Chancellor to advise and bless our students to start their career as postgraduate students. But this year, because of the corona third wave, as well as some pre-scheduled programs for our Honorable Chancellor, he could not come and bless you. But today, he found a day to see you all and bless you all on the day of Voice of Young India on Union Budget 2022, which is the first program officially conducted for our MBA students after our Srinivas University is accepted MBA program from our previous Mangalore University affiliated MBA program. Earlier we were used to organize budget sessions every year. But recently, last 3 years, because of this corona pandemic situation, we could not organize in-campus budget analysis program. But today, our third wave of corona is almost ending, so that we are entering back to our previous style of operation from the campus. And our Honorable Chancellor, with full enthusiasm and energy, is with us, along with our young dynamic leader, Pro-Chancellor Dr. Srinivas, in order to advise you and bless you during this session. As you know, you are seeing the president of this program, who is a senior chartered accountant and auditor and educationist and entrepreneur. He has done everything, all kind of businesses, and in many businesses he could able to win, and in some businesses he could able to get experience, might not able to continue, but he is a role model to everyone, especially for MBA students who are looking to start their own business in multi-field areas in the society. So our Honorable Chancellor, born in the previous century, during 1937, had his early education, both primary and high school, at Innanje, near Kapu, in Udupi district. And then he completed his BCom, Bachelor degree in Commerce, from MGM College, Udupi. Then he took a decision to do chartered accountant profession, to consider chartered accountant profession. And he came to Mangalore and started his CA studies and completed his CA by 1965. Immediately he started his own consultation firm for auditing, and then he got many opportunities. He has encashed each and every opportunities to grow in his profession. He became the president of South Indian CA Association, then secretary of South Indian CA Association in its professional area. He has started 7 firms under CA Raghavendra Rao Associates Group. Then he started many other businesses, in which one business is hotel business. He started Hotel Srinivas, the first 3-star hotel which provides vegetarian food in this region. Then he started A. Shamrao Foundation in 1983, under which the first college was College of Hotel Management, affiliated to Mangalore University. Then he started many colleges, totally 18 colleges under A. Shamrao Foundation in the name of Srinivas Group of Colleges. And in the year 2013, he got an opportunity to convert Srinivas Group, some of the institutions of Srinivas Group, into Srinivas University, a private private university in this region, and he has encashed that opportunity. This private university is got birth in Karnataka Legislative Assembly during 2013, and it got permission to offer degree programs, postgraduate degree programs, and research programs from UGC in the year 2015. Same year 2015, we got Srinivas University got permission to accept the degrees of Srinivas University and became a member of All India University Association AIU. Then in the year 2017, we started and converted our many of colleges which were affiliated to Mangalore University to Srinivas University. So out of them, our MBA, MCOM program also shifted from Mangalore University to Srinivas University. So being a educationist and advisor to learned people, and he is a senior advisor to many chartered accountants in all over India. He is a successful entrepreneur and all-rounder, and he is actually a role model to all of us. So you should get energy and inspiration by seeing our Honorable Chancellor. At the age of 84, he is very active, very dynamic, and he wanted to meet and interact with the students. From 1965 onwards, after becoming the member of association, Chartered Accountants Association, he started analyzing the union budget every year. He has been invited by many organizations every year for analyzing the union budget, and I think he has analyzed more than 50 union budgets, so that he is the Bhishma of union budget analysis of union budget based on his experience and expertise. So all other our expert CA SS Nayak is also grown and developed through the guidance of Dr. CA Raghavendra Rao, and our SS Nayak is nowadays expert, and he also considered as an expert advisor for union budget analysis. So with this, on behalf of Srinivas University, all the faculty members and the students gathered here, and on the behalf of all the experts who have accepted our invitation and being with us here, I wholeheartedly welcome our Honorable Pro-Chancellor, Dr. C.A. Raghavendra Rao. So I request our Dean in charge to give a bouquet. We have our Pro-Chancellor, Dr. A. Srinivas Rao, who is a young, energetic CEO of Srinivas Group. Under the able guidance of Dr. C.A. Raghavendra Rao, Dr. Srinivas Rao has grown and developed himself as a role model to our young executives. Dr. A. Srinivas Rao was the president of Canara Chamber of Commerce and Industries and represented the industries of undivided Dakshina Kannada district for all-round development. He was the member of Mangalore Port Trust. He has proposed or speeded up Mangalore-Bangalore Railway. When he was the president of Chamber of Commerce, the railway was not functioning. were some changes in the technology of railway, and through his continuous efforts, the Bangalore railway could able to function, and he has contributed in a special way to Mangalore. He has also proposed this a special sky bus system also in Mangalore, but which is yet to be implemented. Dr. Srinivas Rao is instrumental in developing Srinivas Group and Srinivas Colleges, group of colleges. And today we have more than 12,000 students studying in Srinivas University and Srinivas Group of colleges. I will not go through details about his achievements due to the constraint of the time. So on behalf of everyone gathered here, I welcome you, sir, to this budget session 2022. I also welcome the budding manager, the budding administrator of Srinivas Group of Institutions, and the member of the uh, managing board of Srinivas University, Miss Meghana S. Rao, to this program. I also request to add some analysis at the end of this program in order to add further value to our discussions by her. At the end, I will request you to come forward and give your analysis, views about the new budget 2022. Now I request our moderator to take over. Before that, I think we have to go for inauguration of. Okay, so I request. Professor Kirtana to florally welcome our Honorable Pro Chancellor. I also request you to welcome Miss Meghana S. Rao. Thank you all.
Thank you, sir, for your warm words of welcome. Dio Yona Prachodaya, which means let the light instigate our intellect in a proper direction. May I now request our Honorable Chancellor, Dr. C.A. Raghavendra Rao, to formally inaugurate the program by lighting the lamp, and let this light be the source of enlightenment. I request all the dignitaries on the dais to kindly join for lighting of the lamp. I request the gathering to kindly rise. single day is too less a time to have deliberation on such a vast topic on Union Budget 2022. Still, we are proud to make this humble beginning. Bhumi Tiruti Un Atichodi Bai Avyavar, quoted by Finance Minister Nirmala Sitaram, which means cultivate the land and feed. To lead us in this fruitful discussion, I request Professor Manoj Lewis to take over the session.
Check. Budget is not just a collection of numbers, but an expression of our values and aspirations. Respected Chancellor, Pro-Chancellor, Vice-Chancellor, Ms. Meghna, a prospective chartered accountant, Deans, HODs, and faculty members of this esteemed Srinivas universities, esteemed panel members, and dear participants, both physical and virtual, a very good evening to all. First of all, I would like to thank all the students of first year MBA for putting forward all the budget numbers. I always believe numbers are not something that you need to focus on, because the best meaning of statistics is you understand that, those who are students of statistics. But then I would like to thank all students for giving us the numbers for the benefit of the audience. Now I invite the virtual audience who are there watching us on YouTube to put your questions on the chat box. And also those who are present, physically present here, I want you to write down your questions on the chit, and I would try my level best to include as many questions as possible, because we have very resourceful panel members, and possibly I would like to play the role of a devil's advocate, and I would try to get the best out of all the esteemed panel members, but I want the participation of the audience right here as well as virtual. An annual exercise of budget is one that the entire country looks up to. Some hits and misses are common in an exercise of this magnitude. So quickly, I would like to speak about two major areas that the budget focuses on. The first thing is blueprint for Amrit Kal, that is India at 100. Moving on, this year we are celebrating the Amrit Mahotsav. So between the years 76 to 100, it's a blueprint for this 25 years. The second major focus that we have as far as this budget is concerned is big public investment for building modern infrastructure. There are four priority areas that the budget focuses on. The PM Gati Shakti, which the students did present, 7 wonderful growth engines, the roadways, railways, airports, seaways, the mass transit, the logistics in infrastructure. Second important priority in this budget is inclusive development. Third one is financing of investment. And fourth is productive enhancement, sunrise opportunities, energy transition, and climate. So, dear participants, all the people who are here, virtual as well as physical, I would invite all the panel members to throw light on what is your opening take as far as this budget is concerned. So, I believe we have Professor Narayan, sir. So, can we begin with you, sir? Your opening remarks on the budget. So, can I allot a minimum of 2 minutes to each of the panel members, your initial takes. I want all the participants, please, to record down your thoughts if you have any questions to ask.
Honorable Chancellor, Dr. C.A. Raghavendra Rao, respected Pro-Chancellor, Dr. Srinivas Rao, Ms. Meghna S. Rao, Vice Chancellor, Professor P.S. Haital, and very learned and dynamic panelists present here, faculty members of the Srinivas group of institutions, invitees, and most important, the students and all the virtual viewers. To start with, my mind goes back because I am now 60 plus. My mind goes back to various budget presentations, and in most of them, especially 10 years behind, what you would see is the finance minister will come with initially a suitcase, afterwards a briefcase, with a lot of expectations, and there will be starting from cigarette, first indirect taxes, starting from cigarette, then from soaps, then vehicles, then even petroleum, diesel, whatnot, cement, steel, for everything either increase or decrease, and immediately we say the price has gone up or price will come down. So like this, and then people like me who are taxpayers as employees would like to see what we are getting out of the direct taxes or income tax, and there will be a lot of say sometimes addition, some slabs are revised, sometimes even the ATC exemptions are given, made more, made less. Then they will say we have made it, simplified the tax process, but in fact it looks to be more complex and complex. So this is what was happening, but of recent the whole trend has changed. You would have seen the other day, February 1st, earlier it was only February 28th. Now on February 1st, Madam Finance Minister did not carry any suitcase or briefcase or even a vanity bag. It was a small pouch with a limited number of prints. Even for, as I was told, for journalists, they were given electronic prints. And the budget did not go too much uh, with kind of various taxation. Rather, it is a budget where a futuristic policy or direction is given to the country. As our Manoj Lewis rightly said, it is thinking for the from Amrit to centenary. That is the way. And we could see what is the direction we are going at. And as from my side, I will see that there are four important things. One is coverage, one is welfare, one is transformation, and another is development, and the last one is self-sustainability or Atmanirbhar. This is how I have seen the budget. These are the four areas where the budget could be analyzed. And going further in the budget, there are, as you said, a lot of numbers are there. But what is important for an ordinary person is what would be the fiscal deficit. You have to understand what is a deficit. Then what could be the growth rate? What is the targeted growth rate? And what will be the impact of all these various investments on, very important is inflation, job creation, as well as uh, the country's future growth and globalizing effects. So this is what I have seen. Anyway, during our discussions, all these things will be covered. So I look forward for various things to come out, and thank you for the opportunities.
Can we have CASS Naik, sir, to share your thoughts?
Sorry for interruption. I request our Vice Chancellor, Dr. P.S. Aital, to florally welcome C.A. Dharmendra B. Mehta. Thank you, sir.
So as a moderator, I am very excited to, listen to CASS Naik, all the panel members, and also our dear friend in CA Dharmendra, sir. Welcome, sir. Over to SS Naik, sir.
Good evening to all. We have been watching this budget analysis in various TV channels, and we have seen in various newspapers since that first Feb. Of course, many people, they got disappointed by this budget for the simple reason that they didn't get anything. Our thinking itself is wrong. Now it is not the time what we want. It is the time to think what our nation wants. We should first realize that India is the third largest economy in the world and fastest growing economy in the world as certified by IMF with the 9.2% growth rate. Really, hats off to our Prime Minister and entire team for leading nation in spite of this consecutive third year of pandemic situation. Of course, last year it was the vaccine budget we called, because vaccine was given to all the people of India, as well as vaccine was given to economy also. And last budget was continuation of earlier 5 mini budgets also. During pandemics, 5 mini budgets were also announced. Lot of policy matters have also been liberalized, and the last budget was continuation of the 5 mini budgets. In spite of that announcing of 5 mini budgets, the budget size was not decreased. The budget size was 35 point some crore, whatever it may be. So they have not decreased the size of the budget. This year also it is 39.45 crore is the size of the budget. Then the question will come, because normally the people, they think that income tax rebate we didn't get, then we didn't get ATC, we didn't get that, this standard deduction, then work from home deduction, all these things we used to see before budget. What are all the wish list of the people? See, one thing we should realize, wants are always unlimited, but means are limited. Any finance minister, she or he has to plan the budget based on the available means of resources. With the available means of resources, the budget presented is the very good budget, I can say. In spite of increasing the size of the budget, the fiscal deficit is not alarming. I don't say that it is satisfactory. It is not alarming. You may say the fiscal deposit 3 to 3.5 or 4% may be better, but at this juncture it is not possible to control at that level. In this budget, there is no levy of any additional taxes. For the last 2-3 years we have seen there is no levy of any additional taxes to common man. Tax regime, of course, new regime is there, old regime is there. Both the regime, it will continue as it is. So no additional taxes, no additional exemptions, deductions or rebates also. So it is status quo is maintained. So whatever announced in earlier budget, that has been continued in this budget. In short, this budget, as I told last year, it was vaccine budget, both vaccine for the people and vaccine for the economy. This is a booster budget and this is growth oriented budget. In the long run, this budget will definitely bear fruits. In simple, one small quote I have prepared on this budget also. 2022 Union Budget, smart move to reach target. Growth oriented booster budget. No tax increase in any gadget. Without alarming fiscal deficit witnessed by surging share market, inclusive growth is government's intent. Covering all the sectors is the content. Path towards $5 trillion thirst, east or west. India is always best. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Thank you, sir. Can we have Dr. Sharad? Sir, if you can share your thoughts on the budget. What do you feel, sir?
Yeah, hello. It's been quite some time since I actually sat on a podium. So, thank you, Vice Chancellor. Thank you, Chancellor. Thank you, everybody over here. I mean, I see over here the panel. It's pretty interesting because a couple of things that I want to add on that. We have a number of chartered accountants over here, which is like 1, 2, 3, 3.5, and then we have quite a lot of PhD students. PhD is also over here. That's almost like 4, I guess, over here. So that's an interesting panel over here. Like we just are 10 people over here. So that's like almost 30% and 40%. That's quite a number. Okay, let me start off with this way. Okay, I mean, I'm not going to summarize. Like, there are a lot of experts who will give you the overall summary of the budget, but I want to start in this way. There are two questions that I have to the crowd over here. The first question is a very simple question: what percentage, which particular segment or sector has got the biggest chunk of budget? It's for the audience. I mean, like, it's just going to take you like 5 seconds of your time because there was a presentation done. I just want to make sure like people have paid attention. That's right, it's almost 13%. The second one is a little bit on the tricky side. The second question is basically like in the past, if you look at like historically, our budgets always started at 5 o'clock in the evening. This was significantly changed by the current government, which made it at 11 o'clock. What was the rationale behind that 5 o'clock? That's exactly right. It's 11 o'clock in London. So that's exactly right. So yeah, so that's when the the current government, we got to appreciate that. Like, hey guys, India needs to wake up. Okay. So anyway, so yeah, so I'm not going to stick much to that. I'm going to be very specific. I come from renewable energy technology, focusing on two segments. I focus on solar sector and I focus on electric vehicles. These are the two spaces that I'm in. So specific deep diving into those sector itself, there has been interesting things, developments with respect to budget in this space. Solar sector has got almost 20,000 crores. Now, is 20,000 crores a lot? Well, it's a bit tense if you consider defense. Defense is like almost 5 lakh crores. Out of that, almost 1 lakh crore goes to pensions. Solar got 20,000 crores. Now that's great. You know what? It's the absolute base of it last year, I guess, was 5,000 crores. So it's a pretty good jump, I guess. So what is happens to the like I represent the micro, small, and medium enterprise. So basically, so how does that trickle down effect to me or as an individual? I'm just summarizing for the budget's sake. How does it affect us, right? At the end of the day, what we're going to see after 3 or 4 years, we're going to see the solar module prices going down further. That's what we can see from this budget. The 20,000 crores, it's basically a production linked incentive scheme for manufacturing of indigenous solar modules. So this is only the big boys who are going to get the money. The Reliance and name it, Renewasis, MV, these are the big giants in this space. But the trickle down effect is going to happen with the price of the solar modules, which will effectively people like us who is going to install solar as well as who's going to put solar, for them the consumer will benefit. So it's going to happen after 3 years. The bad side of what has happened, what has happened is the customs duty has been increased on imported modules. So they've increased it by 40% on the modules, 25% on the cells. Now that's going to play a big bad part because of the fact that now, do we have sufficient indigenous manufacturers in India so that they can meet the Indian targets? No. So, yeah. So the point is, that's why I'm saying you 3 years from now, yes. As of right now, this year, the prices are going to start increasing. So let's get, ready to that part. The second part on EVs, electric vehicles. You had a slide on that. What you mentioned over there, there's an interesting thing, but I'm sure people have to get that, understand the concept. How is it going to help a common man? Let me see the bad part of what has happened in the current budget for EV. The bad part is they've removed the subsidy. So that means anybody who goes to purchase electric vehicles post 2023, the next fiscal year, there's no subsidy. So you're going to see the price. It's going to escalate. For two-wheelers, four-wheelers, name it. But interesting thing what has been added to this budget is battery as a service. Now, that's a very interesting concept. And so battery swapping will become very interesting. So that means what? So let me put it this way. How does it affect a common man? When you buy electric vehicle, 40 to 50% of the cost, 40 to 50% of the cost you pay for the battery. Okay. Now, with the battery swapping model, leasing companies are going to come in and they're going to say, geez, you know what, common guy, you don't have to buy it. You can lease it from us. So you don't have to pay that extra capital cost of 50%. We can see reduction in prices. So you can buy the battery model. It's a swapping model. So it's long-term lease. I can buy the batteries. So that's going to be advantageous. When it's going to start, I expect another 1 year from now, with real action is going to start from that. Well, last but not least, but this was a little pain point for me. Part of the budget was the amount of funding that went to M&P. got to see the social guys. I mean, you got to see the real India, the tier 1, tier 2, where approximately 65 to 70% of our population lives. Okay, and the MNREGA, the amount of money that has been gone into it has gone down. So that's on the negative side of it. But on the positive side of it, as Sir has rightly pointed out, the big picture is big amount of investment is going to come. Yes, in every, be it manufacturing, be it infrastructure, transportation, name it. But trickle down effect to the Aam Aadmi part of it, direct, as Sir rightly pointed out, not much. Yes, fair enough. But repercussions, what we see of this, the benefits that trickles down, it's going to happen after 2 years, 3 years from now. We can see, what you say, like you reap. I mean, now you sow, now you reap later. And that's what is going to happen, right? So I would end it at that way. I mean, one more part of it which I wanted to mention, and there's an interesting article. I mean, I follow this guy called his name is Andy Mukherjee from Bloomberg. He writes pretty well, very good finance writer. He's put in a very interesting point of it, like hey, the advantage part of it is you're putting a lot of money, capital spending is going to happen, push from the government part of it. But at the end of the day, the government's mantra is saying that, look, we are pushing in a lot of money into the system part of it so that the private players can come and then they start investing. But Andy's take is that, look, you might crowd out their investments because, there's a lot of it. It's a little complex part of it, but I'll try my best of my understanding, limited understanding of bonds. So let's put it this way. How is government going to, put in that much amount of crores of money? How? You know what? RBI has to print money. The government will be taking bonds, giving off to the RBI. RBI is going to print money, give it to these guys. Okay, when you take that kind of money, part of it. So what happens? You check what happens. So much cash has come into the system. Now, there is two aspects. One biggest aspect that happens is inflation starts like crazy because the money has to get absorbed into commodities like this. It has to get absorbed. So now, Andy's take is very interesting. This will scare the private investors, FIIs, the foreign institutional investors, to come in. That's what his take is. Because now they say, they first look at the macroeconomy, they see macroeconomy, oh my god, inflation is going up. That means RBI has to start doing something. But RBI is sitting quiet for a long time and not raise interest rates at all because of the pandemic and a lot of reasons. But geez, every price of the commodity, name it, because I'm an MSME guy, everything has increased. Everything, aluminum, copper, name it, everything is increased. So that's going to be a big challenge. Like you put in so much money into the system, you're expecting foreign institutional investors to come. Will they come? Interesting. And US is the biggest player here. It's going to increase its interest rates. And once interest rates US starts increasing, money will start flowing there because that's more safer. Period. That's it. I would end it that. I'm sorry.
No problem. I think you said it right. The focus on public investment, bringing in private investment, more of private players. I think battery swapping policy, the EV sector, EV ecosystem, I think we will come across in our discussion further. Can I invite Mr. Harish to speak your thoughts about the budget?
ನಾನು ಕಳೆದ ಒಂದು 20-25 ವರ್ಷದಿಂದ ಕನ್ನಡ ಪತ್ರಿಕೆಯಲ್ಲಿ ಕೆಲಸ ಮಾಡೋ ಕಾರಣ ನನ್ನ ಮಾತುಗಳು ಕನ್ನಡದಲ್ಲಿ ಇರ್ತದೆ, ಎಲ್ರಿಗೂ ಅರ್ಥ ಆಗ್ತದೆ ಅಂತ ನಾನು ತಿಳ್ಕೊಂಡಿದ್ದೇನೆ. ನಾನು ಪತ್ರಕರ್ತ. ಇಲ್ಲಿ ಕೂತವರೆಲ್ಲರೂ ಆರ್ಥಿಕ ತಜ್ಞರು, ಬ್ಯಾಂಕಿಂಗ್ ಕ್ಷೇತ್ರದಲ್ಲಿ ಕೆಲಸ ಮಾಡಿದವರು, CA ಆಗಿ ಕೆಲಸ ಮಾಡಿದವರಿಗೆ ಬಜೆಟ್ನ ಒಳನೋಟಗಳು ಗೊತ್ತಿರ್ತದೆ. ನಾವು ಪತ್ರಕರ್ತರು ಏನಂದ್ರೆ ಬಜೆಟ್ನಲ್ಲಿ ಏನಿತ್ತು ಅಂತ ಹೇಳುವುದನ್ನು ಮಾತ್ರ ಪತ್ರಿಕೆಯ ಮೂಲಕ ಜನರಿಗೆ ಕೊಡುವ ಕೆಲಸವನ್ನು ಇಷ್ಟು ವರ್ಷ ಮಾಡ್ತಾ ಬಂದಿದ್ದೇವೆ. ನಾನು ನನ್ನ ಪತ್ರಿಕೆಯಲ್ಲಿ ಪ್ರತಿ ವರ್ಷ ಬಜೆಟ್ ಭಾಷಣಗಳು, ರಾಜ್ಯದ ಬಜೆಟ್ ಇರ್ಬೋದು, ರಾಷ್ಟ್ರದ ಬಜೆಟ್ ಇರ್ಬೋದು, ಅದನ್ನ ವಿಶ್ಲೇಷಣೆ ಮಾಡ್ತಾ ನಮಗೆ ಪ್ರತಿ ಸಲ ನಮಗೆ ಬೇರೆ ಕಡೆ ಕಾರ್ಯಕ್ರಮಗಳಾದಾಗ, ನಾನು ಉದಾಹರಣೆಗೆ ಬಂದಾಗ ಲೈತಾಡ್ಸ್ ಅಂತ ಹೇಳಿದೆ, ಈ SS ನಾಯ್ಕರಂತವರು ಬಜೆಟ್ನ ಬಗ್ಗೆ ಹೊರಗಡೆ ಕಾಲೇಜುಗಳಲ್ಲಿ ಅಥವಾ ಸಾರ್ವಜನಿಕರಿಗೆ ಮಾತನಾಡಿದ ಬಳಿಕ ನಮಗೆ ಬಜೆಟ್ ಅರ್ಥ ಆಗ್ಲಿಕ್ಕೆ ಸ್ಟಾರ್ಟ್ ಆಯಿತು. ಬಜೆಟ್ ಹೇಗಿದೆ ಅಂತ ನಾನು ಹೇಳಲಿಕ್ಕೆ ನನಗೆ ಸಾಧ್ಯ ಇಲ್ಲ. ಬಜೆಟ್ ನಲ್ಲಿ ಏನಿದೆ ಅಂತ ಮಾತ್ರ ನಮಗೆ ಗೊತ್ತಿದ್ದಾರೆ. ಬಜೆಟ್ ಹೇಗಿದೆ ಅಂತ ನಮಗೆ ಮೊದಲು ಅರ್ಥ ಮಾಡಿಕೊಟ್ಟವರು SS ನಾಯ್ಕರು. ಇಲ್ಲಿ ಶ್ರೀನಿವಾಸ್ ವಿಶ್ವವಿದ್ಯಾನಿಲಯ ಶ್ರೀನಿವಾಸ ಶಿಕ್ಷಣ ಸಂಸ್ಥೆಗಳು ಅಂತ ಹೇಳುವುದೇ ಒಂದು ದೊಡ್ಡ ಪರಂಪರೆ ಅಂತ ನಾನು ಅಂದ್ಕೊಂಡಿದ್ದೇನೆ. ಇವತ್ತು ಐತಾಳ್ ಸರ್ ಮಾತನಾಡ್ತಾ ಹೇಳಿದ್ರು, ಒಂದೆರಡು ನಿಮಿಷ ಮಾತಾಡ್ಬೋದು ಸರ್ ಹಾಗೆ, ಹೇಗೆ ರಾಘವೇಂದ್ರರವರವರು ಈ ಸಂಸ್ಥೆಯನ್ನ ಕಟ್ಟಿದ್ರು ಅಂತ ಹೇಳಿದ್ರು. ಇವತ್ತಿನ ಇದು ಬಹಳ ಚೆನ್ನಾಗಿದೆ, ವಾಯ್ಸ್ ಆಫ್ ಯಂಗ್ ಇಂಡಿಯಾ ಅಂತ. ನನಗೆ ವಾಯ್ಸ್ ಆಫ್ ಇಂಡಿಯಾ ಯಂಗ್ ಇಂಡಿಯಾಕ್ಕೆ ಈ ಬಜೆಟ್ ಇದಕ್ಕಿಂತಲೂ ಮುಖ್ಯವಾಗಿ ಅದರ ಒಂದು ರೋಲ್ ಮಾಡೆಲ್ ಆಗಿ ನನಗೆ ಶ್ರೀನಿವಾಸ್ ರವರವರೇ ಕಾಣ್ತಾ ಇದ್ದಾರೆ. ಯಾಕೆ ಹೇಳಿದ್ರೆ ರಾಘವೇಂದ್ರ ಅವರು ಕಟ್ಟಿದ ಸಂಸ್ಥೆಯನ್ನ ಅದನ್ನ ಇಷ್ಟು ಚೆನ್ನಾಗಿ ಮುನ್ನಡೆಸಬೇಕಲ್ಲ, ಅದು ನಿಜವಾಗಿ ಯಂಗ್ ಇಂಡಿಯಾ ಅಂತ ನಾನು ಅಂದ್ಕೊಂಡಿದ್ದೇನೆ. ಇದು ದೊಡ್ಡ ಸ್ಫೂರ್ತಿ ಮಕ್ಕಳಿಗೆ. ನಿಮ್ಮ MBA ಮಕ್ಕಳಿಗೆ ಬಜೆಟ್ ಬಗ್ಗೆ ನಾವು ಹೇಳುವುದಕ್ಕಿಂತ ಕೂಡ ನಿಮ್ಮ ಸಂಸ್ಥೆಯಲ್ಲೇ ನಿಮಗೆ ದೊಡ್ಡ ಎಕ್ಸಾಂಪಲ್ ಇದೆ ಅಂತ ನಾನು ಅಂದ್ಕೊಂಡಿದ್ದೇನೆ. ಇನ್ನು ಸರ್ ಇನ್ನೊಂದು ನಾನು ಹೇಳಲೇಬೇಕು, ನಿಮ್ಮ ವಾಯ್ಸ್ ಬಹಳ ಚೆನ್ನಾಗಿದೆ. ಮನೋಜ್ ಲೂಯಿಸ್ ಅವ್ರದ್ದು ಬಹಳ ಚೆನ್ನಾಗಿದೆ ಸರ್ ನಿಮ್ಮ ವಾಯ್ಸ್, ನೀವು ಮಾತನಾಡೋದು. ಇವಾಗ ನಾನು ನಿಮ್ಮಲ್ಲಿ ಬಜೆಟ್ ನ ಬಗ್ಗೆ ಮಾತನಾಡೋದಕ್ಕೆ ನಾನು ಕೂಡ ತಿಳ್ಕೊಳ್ಳಿಕ್ಕೆ ಬಂದಿಲ್ಲ. ನನ್ನ ಹತ್ರ ಸಹ ಪ್ರಶ್ನೆಗಳಿದೆ, SS ನಾಯಕರಿಗೆ ನಿಮಗೆ ನನ್ನ ಪ್ರಶ್ನೆಗಳಿದೆ. ಎಲೆಕ್ಟ್ರಿಕ್ ವಾಹನಗಳ ಬಗ್ಗೆ ನಾನು ಬಜೆಟ್ ನಲ್ಲಿ ಬಂದ ಬಗ್ಗೆ ನೋಡಿದೆ. ಅದರ ಒಳಗಿನ ಈ ಬ್ಯಾಟ್ರಿಯ ವಿಷಯ ಈಗ ಶರತ್ ಅವರು ಹೇಳಿದ ಮೇಲೆ ಕೂಡಲೇ ನಮಗೆ ಜ್ಞಾನ ಬಂತು. ಸೊ ನಾನು ಹೇಳುವುದಕ್ಕಿಂತ ಸ್ವಲ್ಪ ಕೇಳ್ಕೊಳ್ಳಿಕ್ಕೆ ಬಂದೆ. SS ನಾಯಕರು ನಮಗೆ ಹೇಳಿದ್ರು, ಬಜೆಟ್ ಬಂದಾಗ ನಾವು ಮೊದಲು ನೋಡ್ಕೊಳ್ಳೋದು ಏನಂತ ಹೇಳಿದ್ರೆ ನಮಗೆ ಏನಿದೆ ಅಂತ. ನಮಗೆ ಏನಾಗಿದೆ, ನಮಗೆ ಎಲ್ಲಾದ್ರೂ ನಮ್ಮ ಟ್ಯಾಕ್ಸ್ ಈಗ 5 ಲಕ್ಷಕ್ಕೆ ಇದ್ದದ್ದು ಇದನ್ನ 10 ಲಕ್ಷಕ್ಕೆ ಏನಾದ್ರು ಏರಿಕೆ ಮಾಡಿದ್ರ, ಅಥವಾ ಕಾಮನ್ ಮ್ಯಾನಿಗೆ ಏನ್ ಲಾಭ ಇದೆ. ನಾನು ಬಹಳ ತಮಾಷೆ ಅಂತ ಏನು ಹೇಳಿದ್ರೆ ಏನು ಸರ್ ಅಂತ ಹೇಳಿದ್ರೆ, ಈ ಬಜೆಟ್ ಬಂದ ಕೂಡಲೇ ಮರುದಿವಸ ಪತ್ರಿಕೆಗಳಲ್ಲಿ ನೀವು ಬಜೆಟ್ ನ ಬಗ್ಗೆ ನಮ್ಮ ರಾಜಕಾರಣಿಗಳು ಬೇರೆ ಬೇರೆ ಕ್ಷೇತ್ರದವರ ಹೇಳಿಕೆಗಳು ಬರ್ತವೆ. ಸಾಮಾನ್ಯವಾಗಿ ಆಡಳಿತ ಪಕ್ಷದವರಿದ್ರೆ ಇದು ಬಹಳ ದೂರದೃಷ್ಟಿ ಬಜೆಟ್, ಸಮಚಿತ್ರದ ಬಜೆಟ್, ಬಡವರ ಪರವಾದ ಬಜೆಟ್, ಭವ್ಯ ಭಾರತದ ಬಜೆಟ್, ಆತ್ಮನಿರ್ಭರ ಭಾರತ, ಇದು ಸಾಮಾನ್ಯ. ಯಾರು ಆಡಳಿತ ಪಕ್ಷದ ನಮ್ಮ ಬಜೆಟ್ ಚೆನ್ನಾಗಿಲ್ಲ. ಪ್ರತಿಪಕ್ಷದವರ ಹತ್ರ ಕೇಳಿದ್ರೆ ಇದರಲ್ಲಿ ಉಪ್ಪು ಹುಳಿ ಇಲ್ಲ, ಇದರಲ್ಲಿ ಶೂನ್ಯ, ಇದು ಇಷ್ಟು ವರ್ಷಗಳು ನಡ್ಕೊಂಡು ಬಂದದ್ದು. ನಾನು ಬಹಳ ಕುತೂಹಲಕ್ಕೆ, ನಮ್ಗೆಲ್ಲ ಈಗೆಲ್ಲ ವಾಟ್ಸಪ್ ಇದೆಲ್ಲ ಬಂದಿದೆ. ಮೊದಲೆಲ್ಲ ಬಜೆಟ್ ಬಂದ್ರೆ ನಮ್ಗೆ ಫೋನ್ ಬರೋದು, ಬಜೆಟ್ ಬಗ್ಗೆ ನಂದೊಂದು ಕಮೆಂಟ್ ಹಾಕಿ. ಏನ್ ಹಾಕ್ಲಿ ಸರ್, ಈ ಬಜೆಟ್ ಅಲ್ಲಿ ಏನಿಲ್ಲ, ಇದು ಬಡವರಿಗೆ ಏನು ಉಪಕಾರ ಇಲ್ಲ. ನಾನು ಅವರಿಗೆ ಒಮ್ಮೆ ಹೆಸರು ಹೇಳಿಲ್ಲ, ನಾನು ಅವ್ರಿಗೆ ಕೇಳಿದೆ, ಸರ್ ಏನ್ ಇರ್ಬೇಕಿತ್ತು ಈ ಬಜೆಟ್ ಅಲ್ಲಿ, ಮತ್ತೆ ಯಾವ ಅಂಶಕ್ಕೆ ನಿಮ್ಮ ವಿರೋಧ ಇದೆ, ಯಾವುದು ಜನ ವಿರೋಧಿ ಆಗಿದೆ ಅದರಲ್ಲಿ ಅಂತ ಕೇಳಿದ್ರೆ ಅವ್ರು ಬಜೆಟ್ ನೋಡ್ಲೇ ಇಲ್ಲ. ಅವ್ರು ಹೇಳಿದ್ರು, ನಾನು ಬಜೆಟ್ ನೋಡಿಲ್ಲ. ಬಂದ್ರೆ ಮರುದಿವಸ ಅವರಿಗೆ ಪತ್ರಿಕೆಗಳಲ್ಲಿ ಹೇಳಿಕೆಗಳು ಬರ್ಬೇಕಷ್ಟೇ. ಬಜೆಟ್ ನ ಬಗ್ಗೆ ಮೊನ್ನೆ ಬಜೆಟ್ ಯಾವಾಗ ಘೋಷಣೆ ಆಯ್ತು, CS ನಾಯಕರವರಿಗೆ ಪುರ್ಸೊತ್ತೇ ಇರಲಿಲ್ಲ. ಯಾಕಂದ್ರೆ ಎಲ್ಲಾ TV ಚಾನೆಲ್ಗಳಿಗೂ ಮೊದಲು ಬರೋದು SS ನಾಯಕರ ಹತ್ರ. ಯಾಕಂದ್ರೆ ವಸ್ತುನಿಷ್ಠವಾಗಿ ಈ ಬಜೆಟ್ ನಲ್ಲಿ ಏನಿದೆ ಅಂತ ಅದನ್ನ ಹೇಳ್ಕೊಳ್ಳುವ ನಮಗೆ ಬೇಕಾಗಿದೆ. ನಾನು ಬಜೆಟ್ ನಲ್ಲಿ ಏನಿದೆ ಅಂತ, ಸಹಜವಾಗಿ ನಮ್ಮ ಜಿಲ್ಲೆಗೆ ಏನಿದೆ ಅಂತ ನಾನು ನೋಡಿದೆ. ನಾನು ವಿಶ್ಲೇಷಣೆ ತಪ್ಪಿರ್ಬೋದು, ಅದು ತಪ್ಪಿದ್ರೆ CS ನಾಯಕರವರು ನಾರಾಯಣ ಅವರು ಸರಿ ಮಾಡಿ. ನಾನು ನೋಡಿದ ಪ್ರಕಾರ ನಮ್ಮ ದಕ್ಷಿಣ ಕನ್ನಡ ಜಿಲ್ಲೆ, ನಮ್ಮಲ್ಲಿ ನಾವು ಇನ್ನೂ ಕೃಷಿ, ಇಲ್ಲಿ ಉದ್ಯಮ ಬೆಳೆದಕ್ಕೆ ನಾವು, ಅದು ನನ್ನ ಸುಳ್ಯ, ಪುತ್ತೂರು, ಬೆಳ್ತಂಗಡಿಯಲ್ಲಿ ಕೃಷಿಕರು ಬಹಳ ಜಾಸ್ತಿ ಇರುವುದು. ನಮ್ಮ ಆರ್ಥಿಕತೆ ಏನಾದ್ರು ಇವತ್ತು ನಿಂತಿದ್ರೆ ಅದು ಸಹಕಾರ ಸಂಘಗಳ ಮೂಲಕ ನಿಂತಿದ್ರೆ ನಾನು ಅಂದ್ಕೊಂಡಿದ್ದೇನೆ. ಸರ್ ನೀವು ಬ್ಯಾಂಕಿಂಗ್ ಕ್ಷೇತ್ರದಲ್ಲಿ ಕೆಲಸ ಮಾಡಿದ್ರೆ ಬ್ಯಾಂಕಿಂಗ್ನವರು ಯಾರು ಕೃಷಿಕರಿಗೆ ದೊಡ್ಡ ಮಟ್ಟದ ಪ್ರಯೋಜನ ಮಾಡ್ತಾರೆ. ಇವತ್ತು ನಮ್ಮಲ್ಲಿ ಡಾಕ್ಟರ್, ಇಂಜಿನಿಯರ್ ಎಲ್ಲ ಕಲ್ತಿದ್ರೆ ಅವರ ತಂದೆ ತಾಯಿ ಅಡಿಕೆ ಕೃಷಿ ಮಾಡಿ ತನ್ನ ಮಗನನ್ನ ಕಲಿಸಿದ ಕಾರಣ ಇವತ್ತು ದೊಡ್ಡ ಶಿಕ್ಷಣ ಕ್ಷೇತ್ರವಾಗಿ, ಆರೋಗ್ಯ ಕ್ಷೇತ್ರವಾಗಿ ನಮ್ಮ ಜಿಲ್ಲೆ ಬೆಳೆದಿದ್ರೆ ಇಲ್ಲಿ ಕೃಷಿಕರ ಪಾತ್ರ ಬಹಳ ದೊಡ್ಡದಿದೆ. ನಾನು ಪ್ರತಿ ಬಾರಿ ಬಜೆಟ್ ಬಂದಾಗ ನಮ್ಮ ಕೃಷಿಕರಿಗೆ ಏನಾದ್ರು ಇದೆಯಾ ಅಂತ ನೋಡಿದ್ದೇನೆ. ಇವತ್ತು ಸಹಕಾರ ಸಂಘಗಳ ಬಗ್ಗೆ ನಾನು ಮೆಚ್ಚಿದ ಒಂದು ಅಂಶ ಏನು ಅಂತ ಹೇಳಿದ್ರೆ, ಕೈಗಾರಿಕೆಗಳಿಗೆ, ಉದ್ಯಮಗಳಿಗೆ ಜಾಸ್ತಿ ಟ್ಯಾಕ್ಸ್ ಇರ್ತದೆ. 18.5% ಅವರು ಅವರ ಲಾಭಾಂಶದ ಮೇಲೆ ತೆರಿಗೆ ಕಟ್ಟಬೇಕಿತ್ತು. ಅದನ್ನ 15% ಇಳಿಸಿದ್ದಾರೆ ಅಂತ ಹೇಳುವಂತದ್ದು ನನಗೆ ಬಹಳ ಖುಷಿ ಕೊಟ್ಟ ವಿಷಯ. ಇದು ನಾನು ಕೇಳಿದೆ, ಸಹಕಾರ ಸಂಘಗಳಲ್ಲಿ ಕೆಲಸ ಮಾಡ್ತಿರೋದು ಕೇಳಿದೆ. ಅವ್ರು ಹೇಳಿದ್ರೆ ನಮಗೆ ಬಹಳ ಇದರಿಂದ ಪ್ರಯೋಜನ ಇದೆ, ಇದರ ಒಂದು ಪ್ರಯೋಜನ ರೈತರಿಗೆ ತಲುಪ್ತದೆ ಅಂತ ಹೇಳಿದ್ರು. ಅದು 1 ಕೋಟಿಯಿಂದ 10 ಕೋಟಿ ಇಷ್ಟು ಒಳಗೆ ಏನು ವ್ಯವಹಾರ ಮಾಡ್ತಿದೆ ಆ ಸಹಕಾರ ಸಂಘಗಳಿಗೆ ಇದರಿಂದ ನೇರ ಪ್ರಯೋಜನ ಆಗ್ತದೆ ಅಂತ ಅವ್ರು ಹೇಳಿದ್ರು. ನಮ್ಮ ಜಿಲ್ಲೆಯಲ್ಲಿ 150ಕ್ಕಿಂತ ಹೆಚ್ಚು ಸಹಕಾರ ಸಂಘಗಳು, ಬಹಳ ಗ್ರಾಮೀಣ ಪ್ರದೇಶ ಸಹಕಾರ ಸಂಘಗಳು ಕೂಡ ಇವತ್ತು 1 ಕೋಟಿ, 5 ಕೋಟಿ, 10 ಕೋಟಿ ಅಂತ ವ್ಯವಹಾರ ಮಾಡ್ತಿದೆ. ಸೊ ಇದು ನಾನು ಕೇಂದ್ರದ ಬಜೆಟ್ ನಲ್ಲಿ ನಮ್ಮ ಜಿಲ್ಲೆಗೆ ಇದರಿಂದ ಲಾಭ ಆಗ್ತದೆ ನಾನು ಅಂದ್ಕೊಂಡಿದ್ದೇನೆ. ಇನ್ನೊಂದು ಬಹಳ ಮುಖ್ಯ ನಮಗೆ ಕಾಡ್ತಾ ಇರುವಂತ ಹೇಳಿದ್ರೆ, ನಮ್ಮ ಒಂದು ರಾಷ್ಟ್ರೀಯ ಹೆದ್ದಾರಿ. ನಾವು BC ರೋಡ್ ನಿಂದ ಗುಂಡ್ಯ ಇವತ್ತು ಸಕಲೇಶ್ಪುರ ತನಕ ಹಲವಾರು ವರ್ಷಗಳಿಂದ, ಇವತ್ತು ಸರ್ ಇದ್ದಾರೆ, ಅವರು ಕೇಂದ್ರ ಚೇಂಬರ್ಸ್ ಅಲ್ಲಿ ಕೆಲಸ ಮಾಡಿದ್ರು. ತುಂಬಾ ವರ್ಷದಿಂದ ಅದರ ಬಗ್ಗೆ ರಾಜ್ಯ ಸರ್ಕಾರಕ್ಕೆ, ಕೇಂದ್ರ ಸರ್ಕಾರಕ್ಕೆ ಬೇಡಿಕೆಗಳು ಸಲ್ಲಿಸ್ತಾ ಬಂದಿದ್ರು ಕೂಡ ಇವತ್ತು ಸ್ವಲ್ಪ ಆಶಾದಾಯಕ ಬೆಳವಣಿಗೆ ಕಾಣ್ತಾ ಇದೆ. ನಾನು ನೋಡಿದೆ ಬಜೆಟ್ ನಲ್ಲಿ ದಿವಸಕ್ಕೆ 70 ಕಿಲೋಮೀಟರ್ ಅಷ್ಟು ನಾವು ಹೈವೇನ ರಚನೆ ಮಾಡ್ತೇವೆ ಅಂತ ಹೇಳಿದ್ರೆ, ಇದೆಲ್ಲಾದ್ರೂ ನಮ್ಮ ಈ ಹೈವೇಯ ಯೋಜನೆಗಳು ಕೂಡ ಅದರ ಒಳಗೆ ಸೇರಿಕೊಂಡ್ರೆ ಲಾಭ ಆಗ್ತದೆ. ನಮ್ಮ ಹೆದ್ದಾರಿಗಳನ್ನ ಮುಂದಿನ 5 ವರ್ಷದಲ್ಲಿ ಸ್ವಲ್ಪ ಒಳ್ಳೆಯ ಸ್ಥಿತಿಯಲ್ಲಿ ನಾವು ಕಾಣಬಹುದು. ಮತ್ತೆ ಬೆಂಗಳೂರಿನಿಂದ ಮಂಗಳೂರಿಗೆ ಏನು ಪ್ರಯಾಣ ಇದೆ ಅದರ ಸಮಯ ಬಹಳ ಕಡಿಮೆ ಆಗ್ಬೋದು ಅಂತ ನಾನು ಅಂದ್ಕೊಂಡಿದ್ದು. ತಕ್ಷಣ ನಾನು ಮೇಲ್ನೋಟಕ್ಕೆ ನಾನು ಗಮನಿಸಿದ ಎರಡು ಅಂಶ, ಒಂದು ನಮ್ಮ ಹೆದ್ದಾರಿಗಳು ಮತ್ತು ಇದು. ಇನ್ನೊಂದು ನನಗೆ ಇದನ್ನು ಸರ್ ತಾವು ಮುಂದೆ ಹೇಳಬೇಕು, ನಾನು ಒಂದು ಸಣ್ಣ ಪ್ರಶ್ನೆ ಮುಂದಿಡ್ತೇನೆ. ಸಾಮಾನ್ಯವಾಗಿ ಬಜೆಟ್ ಬಂದಾಗ ಈ ಸರದ ಬಜೆಟ್ ನಲ್ಲಿ ನೋಡಿದ್ರೆ ನಾವು 80 ಲಕ್ಷ ಮನೆಗಳನ್ನು ನಾವು ಈ ವರ್ಷ ಮಾಡ್ತೇವೆ, 5 ನದಿಗಳನ್ನು ಜೋಡಣೆ ಮಾಡಲಿಕ್ಕೆ 46,000 ಕೋಟಿಯನ್ನು ನಾವು ಕೊಡ್ತೇವೆ. ಹೀಗೆ ನಾವು ರಾಜ್ಯದ ಬಜೆಟ್ ನಾನು ತುಂಬಾ ಬಾರಿ ನೋಡಿದೆ. ಈ ಬಜೆಟ್ ಅನ್ನು ನಾವು ಘೋಷಣೆ ಆಗ್ತದೆ, ಮರುದಿವಸ ಪತ್ರಿಕೆಗಳಲ್ಲಿ ಬರ್ತದೆ, ಟಿವಿಯಲ್ಲಿ ಬರ್ತದೆ, ಈ ರೀತಿ ನಾವು ವಿಶ್ಲೇಷಣೆಗಳನ್ನ ಮಾಡ್ತೇವೆ. ಮುಂದಿನ ವರ್ಷ ಬಜೆಟ್ ಮಂಡನೆ ಆದಾಗ ಈ ಯೋಜನೆಗಳು ಯಾವ ಹಂತಕ್ಕೆ ತಲುಪಿದೆ? ಕಳೆದ ವರ್ಷ 80 ಲಕ್ಷ ಮನೆಗಳನ್ನ ನಿರ್ಮಾಣ ಮಾಡಲಿಕ್ಕೆ ಹೊಂದಿತ್ತು. ಈ ಯಾವ ರಾಜ್ಯದಲ್ಲಿ ಯಾವ ಯೋಜನೆ ಮೂಲಕ ಎಷ್ಟು ಮನೆಗಳ ನಿರ್ಮಾಣ ಆಗಿದೆ? ಇವತ್ತು ಆರೋಗ್ಯ ಕ್ಷೇತ್ರಕ್ಕೆ ಎಷ್ಟೋ ಒಂದು ರಕ್ಷಣಾ ಕ್ಷೇತ್ರಕ್ಕೆಲ್ಲ ಅಷ್ಟು ಕೋಟ್ಯಾಂತರ ಹಣ ಮೀಸಲಿಟ್ಟರೆ ಆ ಹಣ ಎಷ್ಟು ವಿನಿಯೋಗ ಆಗಿದೆ, ಎಲ್ಲಿ ವಿನಿಯೋಗ ಆಗಿದೆ? ಈ ರೀತಿಯ ಅಂಕಿಅಂಶಗಳು ನಮಗೆ ಯಾಕೆ ಸಿಗ್ತಾ ಇಲ್ವಾ, ಅಥವಾ ನಾವು ಅದರ ಮಾಹಿತಿ ಪಡ್ಕೊಳ್ತಾ ಇಲ್ವಾ, ಅಥವಾ ಅದನ್ನ ಮುಂದಿನ ಬಜೆಟ್ಗೆ ತಿಳಿಸಬೇಕಾದ ಒಂದು ಜವಾಬ್ದಾರಿ ಆ ಸರ್ಕಾರಗಳದಿಲ್ವಾ? ಆದ್ರೆ ಈ ಬಾರಿ ನಾನು ಬಜೆಟ್ ನಲ್ಲಿ ಮೊದಲ ಬಾರಿಗೆ ಗಮನಿಸಿದೆ, ನಿರ್ಮಲಾ ಸೀತಾರಾಮನ್ ತುಂಬಾ ಕ್ಷೇತ್ರಗಳಲ್ಲಿ ಕಳೆದ ಬಾರಿ ಎಷ್ಟು ಹಣ ವಿನಿಯೋಗ ಮಾಡಿದೆ ಅಂತ ಹೇಳುವಂತದ್ದು, ಕಳೆದ ಬಾರಿ ಎಷ್ಟು ಇದಕ್ಕೆ ನಾವು ಹಣವನ್ನ ಅಲಾಟ್ ಮಾಡಿದ್ದೇವೆ ಅಂತ ಹೇಳುವ ಅಂಶವನ್ನಾದ್ರೂ ಉಲ್ಲೇಖ ಮಾಡಿದ್ದಾರೆ. ಮತ್ತು ಅದರಲ್ಲಿ ಎಷ್ಟು ಹಣ ಇವತ್ತು ನಮಗೆ ಈ ಕೋವಿಡ್ ನಿಂದಾಗಿ ನಮಗೆ ಅದಕ್ಕೆ ಬಳಕೆ ಮಾಡ್ಲಿಕ್ಕೆ ಆಗಲಿಲ್ಲ ಅಂತ ಹೇಳುವ ಅಂಶ ಅವರು ಹೇಳಿದ್ದಾರೆ. ಇದು ನನ್ನ ಪ್ರಶ್ನೆ. ಯಾಕೆಂದ್ರೆ ಒಮ್ಮೆ ಬಜೆಟ್ ನಲ್ಲಿ ಘೋಷಣೆ, ನಾನು ರಾಜ್ಯ ಬಜೆಟ್ ಅಲ್ಲಿ ವಿಶೇಷವಾಗಿ ಇಲ್ಲಿ ಅಪ್ರಸ್ತುತ ಅದು ಆದ್ರೆ ಹೇಳ್ತಾ ಇದ್ರೆ ತುಂಬಾ ಘೋಷಣೆಗಳು ಆಗಿದೆ, ಆದ್ರೆ ಯಾವುದು ಇಂಪ್ಲಿಮೆಂಟ್ ಆಗುದಿಲ್ಲ. ಮುಂದಿನ 5 ವರ್ಷ ನಾವು ಮರೆತು ಬಿಡ್ತೇವೆ. ಇನ್ನೊಂದು 2-3 ಬಜೆಟ್ ಆದಾಗ ವಿಷಯಗಳೇ ಇರುವುದಿಲ್ಲ. ನಾನು ಮತ್ತೆ ಮಾತನಾಡೋರು ಈ ಬಗ್ಗೆ ಸ್ವಲ್ಪ ನಮಗೆ ಮಾಹಿತಿ ಕೊಡಬಹುದು ಅಂತ ಅಂದುಕೊಂಡಿದ್ದೇನೆ. ಥ್ಯಾಂಕ್ಸ್.
Thank you, Harish sir. I think sir raised two very relevant points. You know, the focus of cooperatives, reduction in surcharge, reduction in the AMT, very, very important points. You know, as sir very rightfully said, our standing, local standing is more on cooperatives, and I think cooperative sector directly benefits the farmers. So reduction in surcharge, reduction in AMT, I think alternate management as far as cooperative is concerned was a good move. And second very important point, that is actually one of my questions. Please don't get me wrong, I am playing the devil's advocate. I would like to go back 6-7 years back. It was Sri Arun Jaitley sir's budget, and he said we are planning for 2020. Now Madam Nirmala Sitharaman says we are planning for India at 100. What is happening to the present day people? I think more on this I would invite Dharmendra sir to give his opening remarks and share your thoughts, sir.
Dignitaries on the dais, moderator Professor Manoj Lewis, and my co-panelists. The one thing that's worrying governments all over the world presently and the economists, can any of the students tell me what is that's worrying the governments all over the world and the economists? Anybody? Take your guess.
I think someone can stand and say quickly whatever you feel like for the answer. Those who are viewing the chat box in the YouTube, if you get an answer to CA Dharmendra sir's question, you can share that as well.
Anyone? Okay, then just to save time, let me come to the answer. It is this stagflation worry which is worrying all the governments all over the world. What's stagflation? Stagflation is higher inflation, lower growth. And that is the scenario we are faced with post this year. This year global growth is just a V-shaped recovery of last year's debacle and collapse. If you look at globally, barring China, we are all still either at pre-COVID growth or GDP, or even below the pre-COVID growth or GDP. Next year, when we don't have this advantage of low base, the growth rate globally will be very low. The only exception will be a few countries where India is included. But governments all over the world are worried about stagflation situation. What is the budget, this particular budget addressed? Exactly that. How to tame inflation and how to give a push to the economy. How do we generate growth and more employment? Now, what do we understand with inflation? Inflation means simply there's more demand and less supply. The prices keep going up. So there are two different policy aspects of inflation. Reduce demand, increase supply, inflation comes under control. You put more money in the hands of taxpayers or the citizens, you are not going to help inflation. Inflation will move up. So the policy is very clear. No tax benefits, no further money to be put in the hands of people for this year. The more tax rebates you give, the more Manrega you increase, the more subsidies you give, you are putting more money in the hands of people. Supply is not going to come in immediately and inflation will go out of control. How many of you students you know that the inflation number is presented all over the world, including India, in two different perspectives? Can anyone say what are the two perspectives of inflation which the government presents every month, month after month? Anybody? Wholesale inflation, that is called wholesale price index. Retail is called consumer price index. Wholesale inflation in India is close to 12%. The prices are just running away. At the retail level, the inflation is still under control because of the last year's low base. It is not that the retail inflation is low. The retail inflation is also high, but because of the low base effect, where the last year inflation had touched virtually 0.5% or 1%, we are saying 4.5% thereabout retail inflation at this point in time. So the policy is very clear to tame inflation. And if you see the budget figures, where there is allocation of money for rural development is less, for Manrega is less, for housing is less, Pradhan Mantri Awas Yojana, for subsidies is less, for fertilizers is less. Government has curtailed the money being given in the hands of people. That's one aspect of it. The second aspect of it is how to generate growth. Now, to generate growth, we need investment which comes from two different segments of the country. One is the private sector, other is the government sector. Private sector has just begun recovering from the last year's debacle. Hoping that private sector will come in a big way and invest will not happen immediately. So government has to step in for at least 1 year or 2 years to see that investment increases. So that's why the capital outlay has gone up substantially. Government wants to invest on highways or railways or you name it, and it wants to invest in that segment. Investment through the public sector will support the growth and will create new employment, which is again a big concern for the current government. The third policy, which is very clearly visible, not only to give more money in the hands of people, but right now we are having a different problem. Excess liquidity problem is there in the system. Because of the excess liquidity, already the inflation is very high. So the question of putting more liquidity in the hands of people does not arise. But how do you suck out this liquidity and put it into the growth-oriented mechanism, for which the gross government borrowing has gone up from 10,45,000 crores to 14,95,000 crores. Government is going to borrow 4,50,000 crores more in this year. What is the increase in fiscal deficit? Because government borrowing is done either through fiscal deficit or through issuing bonds or G-Secs in the market. Fiscal deficit is nothing but printing currency. Fiscal deficit is going up in terms of currency only by 70,000 crores. Fiscal deficit in terms of percentage has come down from 6.9 to 6.4, but because we are having a huge GDP growth of almost 9%, in terms of money value, 6.4% is higher than last year 6.9 when we had a minus growth. So out of 4,50,000 crores, 90,000 70,000 crores will be funded through printing of currency. Balance will be from the market borrowings by the government. Market borrowings means you will suck out the liquidity from the system. I don't know how many of you track government securities 10 years, 15 years, 20 years bond yield. Before the budget, because of this high inflation, the bond rate had gone up from 6% to 6.6%, which is a 60 basis point over a period of last 6 months. Just in the last 4 days, not even 4 days, maybe 3 days from the announcement of the budget, from 6.6%, the government GSEC yield has shot up to 6.95%, which has gone up by 35 basis point. Because the market knows if government is going to borrow so much, we may have to pay a higher rate of interest. So when the liquidity is sucked out of the system, the interest rate may harden a bit, because easy liquidity, easy availability of funds means low rate of interest. Tighten liquidity, less availability of funds means high rate of interest. So if government itself is prepared to borrow at close to 7% in the current year, I think this low rate of housing loans, low rate of vehicle loans, and low rate of consumer loans, those days are coming to an end. Maybe the banks will start reacting a couple of months down the line. Whosoever is keen on taking housing loan or vehicle loan, this is the right time. Go and grab it. It won't be available a couple of months down the line. Globally, all banks are thinking of hardening the interest rates. Bank of England has already taken a step yesterday and they have already raised the rates. So, the worry of the world, that is stagflation, on a war footing the entire world is going to fight. And this budget is no different from that. Yeah, thank you.
Thank you, Dharmendra sir. I think it was really wonderful listen to you, speaking your thoughts. Now, the panel is, we are open. Even the audience can raise their question. My first question to any of the panelists, Dharmendra sir, you mentioned about not putting money in people's hand. You mentioned about some basic points and all. A common person doesn't understand that, sir. What I thought was there are three ways in which I believe the problem of employment can be solved. And I believe the government has addressed two. One is giving the micro, small and medium enterprises the fillip so that they can create employment, manufacturing, production can happen. Second is the huge capex investment, the 35% steep increase, unbelievable increase. No one would have imagined. And third, I thought, putting a little money in the hands of salaried class, because I understand below the pyramid, I doubt whether anyone is a taxpayer. It is a salaried class. They are very prompt in payment. SS Naik sir also mentioned about, we are not supposed to talk about standard deduction. We are not supposed to talk about increase in, say, ATC. So I believe we're still at 25,000 or a 50,000 rupees. I think that would have been a real cheer for the salaried class, for the troubled times that people are in, especially the salaried class. So your take, sir. I think it's open to any of the panel members. You are free to answer that. So three, one is capex. Second is MESME, the increase in budgetary allocation and also the fillip given, and a little money in the hands of salaried class more. So your thoughts?
This capex 35.4% increase, 7.5 lakh crore. See, when capex increase is there, it will not much affect the fiscal deficit. If they spend for subsidies and giving money in the hands of the people, automatically the fiscal deficit will increase, because it will not contribute to the any asset. Here, if you spend for capex, automatically all peripheral sectors, demand for cement, demand for steel, demand for all other materials, demand for labor, everything will increase. Automatically MSMEs will also be empowered.
Correct.
Another is that PLI scheme, 14
Correct.
sectors.
Yes.
They are going to create lakhs of jobs through PLI scheme. You must be aware about that electronic goods and all. In 2014 and all, just 15
Very
to
limited,
20,000 crore. Now more than 2 lakhs crores we are producing. And after China, everybody lost trust on China. Now we have to encash or grab that opportunity of China. Moreover, they have empowered more to the states now. They are giving interest-free loan to the states, 1 lakh crore.
Yeah.
So by that, yes, definitely, because interest-free loan to states, there also they should utilize for capex. So whenever that, and whenever there is a boost for capex, automatically private people also, they will also invest for capex. See now, corporate tax collection is the record time high. Now this year, they have already surpassed the budgeted this within 9 months. Now whatever surplus in the hands of corporates, definitely they will go for further expansion. Of course, the installed capacity should be utilized to the maximum extent. Once that is exhausted, definitely they will go for expansion. So that this will have ripple effect so that job creation will be automatically there. Then there will be more and more money available in the hands of the people, but not sitting idle, but they have to work. If they work, then they will get money. Udyoge nasti. You told that Manrega allocation, earlier you told, 73,000 crore. It is not reduced. It is same of last year. But they have revised the budget because of COVID situation. All these labor class, they went to their respective native place.
But the number of
Now
days has come down.
Now they have come back. See what happens is, see Manrega for what? When they don't get the job elsewhere, then they will, it is the last resort to go for Manrega. What is the daily wages under Manrega they pay?
Very limited.
If I want to hire one labor here, I have to pay per day 600 to 800 rupees. Manrega how much? 200 or 300 rupees per day. So that is the last resort. So definitely they have other opportunities which they are creating. Instead of giving a fish in the hand, they are teaching people how to make fishing. So nobody is hungry now. That is taken care. So but people are angry. So there is one WhatsApp joke I have seen. Only 6 crore people file their return. 1.5 to 2 crore people they pay taxes. But all other people, more than 100 crore people, they are angry that the tax rebate is not there. That is the situation in our nation.
No, I think our focus is on those who pay taxes, not on those who don't pay. Dharmendra sir, your thought. Thank you, sir. Thank you. I think people can raise their thoughts. I think volunteers can help get me the chits if you have related question. Yes, sir.
See, just before the COVID pandemic hit all of us, that is the year 2019-20. Can anyone tell me what was the fiscal deficit of our country? Do you all remember? Anyone? No, prior to COVID. Prior to COVID, it was below 4%. These last 2 years, the government has supported the economy as well as the people who lost jobs or the workers or the migrant workers or the farmers through huge fiscal deficit. Fiscal deficit is nothing but printing currency and giving money to people. Any student of economics will understand the more you print, the more will be inflation. Inflation has caught up with us down the line, more than 12 to 14% in wholesale price index and almost 4.5% in consumer price index. Now to pander to one segment of taxpayer in our economy, it does not work, because then the other segments will also come. Why not us? MSME will come up. Why not us? Other taxpayers will come up. Those who are not salaried class. Why not us? So pandering to one segment does not help in any which way. That's point one. Point two, where's the question of giving any tax relief when our fiscal deficit is still 6.4%? The government is faced with a task to reduce the fiscal deficit. How do we reduce the fiscal deficit? A, by increasing the revenue. Unless and until your revenue goes up, your fiscal deficit will not come down. How do we increase the revenue? By either increasing the growth, that is the GDP, or by increasing taxes. At this point in time, to tax people higher is also not a wise option. The only option left is to increase the growth. And the worst option will be to increase the revenue by giving further benefits. That's the worst option available with any economy at this point in time. And wisely enough, the government has stopped the temptation. We all know there are elections coming in the 5 states. Huge temptation was there with the government to give some sops to the people at large so that they can get some positive votes in their favor. But government has resisted that temptation and not pandered to any class of the society or any segment of the society by giving freebies or tax sops. Yeah, thank you.
Yeah. Thank you, sir. Thank you. My simple question, everyone is asking. Now we are talking about Amrit Kal, one of the focus areas of this budget, the 25 years that is ensuing, coming up. Are we losing something in present to in taking care of our future? Because we are planning for 25 years. What about today? I would like to quote late APJ Abdul Kalam. Somewhere in 2006-7, sir mentioned about India at 2020. Everyone were inside their house in 2020. Then I mentioned about late Sri Arun Jaitley's budget of 2015. He said India at 2020. Now in 2022 we are talking about India at 100. So are we losing on the present, just focusing on the future? A simple question. Yeah, questions on crypto taxation is coming. So youngsters, please wait.
No, of course, it's always said a little pain for a long or bigger gain. So that is there. It's always there. But
no, I would like to add, there is no short-term pain, but still long-term gain.
Correct. So naturally, in any long-term planning, there will be short-term pains will be there. Of course, when we get into short-term pain, we have to look back whether what is promised has happened. Now, as you rightly said, 2020 was one big benchmark or time for many things earlier. And probably, if you look on various angles, a lot of things have happened in 2020, especially the increase in GDP, the increase in educational standards, then the number of jobs. If you see the total, what is that, financial levels, total and per capita income. If you see the per capita income, and probably that BPL and all has no meaning now. It has to be rewritten. So these are things have happened, but still, rightly said, 2047 is quite a long, but it's only a vision. Whereas when we look into this present day, that's what I was in my opening remarks said. The trend is not budget is not for 1 year. Budget is part of a long process. It is part. It is one step in the long journey. So many of the things which has happened last year is continuing, especially now coming to education sector, because I am into education. What happened last year was because of COVID. We all felt that everything went to education is very badly hit. But in the education sector, people have learnt a lot. Now, the online teaching, virtual classes, these have become almost very common part of this. That is, even after COVID, at least 30% of that will remain.
Yes, yeah, even UGC focuses on blending learning, moving ahead.
Yeah.
Sir, your thoughts? Are we losing out on the present? A short answer, because there are quite a few questions coming up from the audience as well. Quick answer.
Present situation, there is the problem. Much problem is not there because tax collection already there is a boost.
Yeah, this is from government point of view.
Government point of view, no. It is from the tax collection government point of view. More means who is paying the tax. If there is no income, why people have to pay tax?
That's what I said. People are paying.
Second thing, let me brief. Second thing is, now people think that no freebies to them. It is not necessary. See, one thing I will tell you. In 90% of the people's mind, whenever the central budget is announced, what is for me?
Yes.
See, there are three stages, three types of budget: central, state, and local budget. So, state government and local government, they should take care of all these aspects. The work of the central government to only formulate policies and channelize the resources. Implementation is left to the states and local governments. Now for states also, they are enabling the states by giving 50 years interest free loans, and they can also make more and more welfare measures. And I recently told, see, there is nothing new announcement. Suppose if they make announcements, what opposition people say? Just for vote sake they have done. ಅದಕ್ಕೆ ನಾನು ಮೊನ್ನೆ ಒಂದು ಟಿವಿಯಲ್ಲಿ ಬೈಟ್ಸ್ ಕೊಟ್ಟಿದ್ದೆ ಇವರದೇ ದಿಗ್ವಿಜಯದಲ್ಲಿ. ಪಂಚರಾಜ್ಯಗಳಿಗಿಲ್ಲ ಪಂಚಕಜ್ಜಾಯ ಹಂಚುವ ಪರಿ ಅಂತ. ಪಂಚರಾಜ್ಯಕ್ಕೆ ಪಂಚಕಜ್ಜಾಯ ಹಂಚಲಿಲ್ಲ ಈ ಇಲೆಕ್ಷನ್ ಅಲ್ಲಿ. ಸೊ ಇಟ್ ಈಸ್ ಓನ್ಲಿ growth oriented budget. And today's situation, see, MSMEs you told. MSMEs, GCL they have given. ECGL or GCL they call by different name.
Emergency credit line.
Emergency
guarantee.
credit line 20% plus 10%, 30%. For hospitality sector, 40% they have given. But state should act in tandem with the central. See what happened in state. State budget they should implement this. Minimum that electricity charge 2 months or 3 months only they waived. They should waive entire COVID period minimum electricity charge, that fixed charge, for all the industries across. That they have not done. That they have to do. See, the problem with the state governments is they want to make only populist budgets. They want to vote sake, they want to see.
They want to see themselves in the next 5 years also.
Only 2 days. Tomorrow what is required? See, if like this, if you increase our fiscal deficit, definitely now itself whatever budget outlay is there, out of the 20% is going for payment of interest. It is an alarming situation. And central schemes only left is 25 to 27%. All other money is going for all these things, fixed thing, defense, pension, establishment, all these things. Then what is left for doing the schemes? And what we are going to give for our next generation? Loans? It is not correct. We should control now itself.
Okay.
And we should, of course, state, and one more thing, Reserve Bank of India, that monetary policy is going to be announced shortly, within a week's time. RBI should complement this budget, then automatically growth will still accelerate. For example, MSME sector, this 90 days NPA concept, that 90 days YCA concept, Nirmala Sitaram herself told in the last budget, once in a lifetime budget. Why can't RBI come out with once in a lifetime measure? During this COVID time, they should suspend that NPA concept. They should suspend that, this one, what is CIBIL. During this Corona time also, they are seeing CIBIL and giving loans. I don't understand what kind of banking we are doing. Reserve Bank of India should take up nurturing of these MSME units. If there is a fracture, you cannot take the person to a smashana. You have to take him to the hospital. Okay, but the problem now is if there is 90 days, immediately they will go for auction. Sell the assets for 50%, then new borrowers they will search. This is the situation now. See, RBI should come out with all these reliefs. NPA norms they should relax. Then liberal restructuring schemes, even for NPA stressed assets, they should come out. They have come out with the scheme in such a that nobody can avail.
Like that conditions they have put. And even this extension of emergency credit they have done. That is only for SMA 1 accounts. SMA 1 account means default up to 59 days. But NPA 1 there is a default of 90 days. 59 days to 89 days, nothing is there. Dobi ka kutta na ghar ka na ghat ka. So what is the situation of them? Reserve Bank of India should come out with all these relaxations. They should tell bankers to restructure and give liberal soft loans for the losses. Definitely our economy will still thrive. Then again job creation will be automatically done.
Correct.
So that is my intention. In monetary policy they can make good, and state government, if they still add, automatically everything will go proper.
So you believe in the saying, fine is a tax for doing something wrong, and tax is a fine for doing something good. So people are doing good, they need to pay taxes. So your thoughts on the micro, small, and medium enterprises, as sir very rightful, because when you said something that they should have, waived off the entire thing, sir was very happy because that statement there was a little takeaway for him. So likewise, everyone looks into the budget what they have.
Fixed electricity charges.
Okay.
That fixed electricity charge itself is a sin tax. It is not a tax.
Yes, sir. Your thoughts on
this
no, though we are sitting in the opposition side, we are not opposition. We are just we want to know, get the best out of the other person.
I understand, sir, where he's coming from, and it's not that he's seeking subsidy or anything like that. Or when I say we, I'm just specifically talking about I. Okay. So, sir, I think there's one confusion over there. I think there must be a maybe lack of the terminology what has been engaged is maybe misrepresented. So it's fixed. So I'll just tell you, sir, when you talk about electricity, there are two components to it. One is the capacity charge and one is the electricity charge. Electricity, the charge is what now it's running and your meter is running. Capacity is the sanction load which has been allotted to you. So when you said fixed capacity, basically I would like to argue that capacity will always be there with you. Electricity charge removed. Capacity, what happens is some power company has to develop some more assets. That is again a capacity. That capacity is what you are paying in terms of lifelong for this sanction load. That is your 5 kilowatt in your house or 3 kilowatt or whatever kilowatt, 100 kilowatt over here. So that's one part of it, sir. But sir, all well said. The semantics and that's just a semantic part of it. Fair enough. Where I'm coming from is the first question what you started off with the whole conversation part of it. Are we losing the present by looking too much into the future? Sir, I would like, my thoughts will be very specific to renewable industry, very, very specific. And it is fair. And this, to summarize the question, to summarize the answer, no. The answer is no. So with renewable industry, when India started off renewables, this was in 2009. Can you hear me? Okay. When India started renewables, that is when I use the word renewable, it's only solar. And right now, all the push is towards solar, not others. I mean, be it wind or small hydro or some other biogas or biomass. So when India started off solar, this was in 2009. And that time, what was the capacity of India? 30 megawatts. 30 megawatts. Just remember, don't think about mega. Just whenever I use the word mega, think 10 to the power of 6, 1 million. So 30 megawatts. Where we stand right now, that is 2021 or 2022. The solar has hit 50,000 megawatts. 50,000 megawatts. We started with 30. We are now 50,000. So let me say one more part of it. When Manmohan Singh ji announced the first target for solar, he said 21,000 megawatt by 2021. I'm happy. When Modi ji came, immediately announced we will hit 100,000 megawatts by 2021. We have surpassed Manmohan Singh's target by crazy amounts. He said 21,000 by 2021. We are 50 right now, 50,000. So, to answer your question is, yes, there is a method in the madness over here. You project and you try to achieve that. And in the process, you are hitting more and more. That's the same thing what we do with growth rates. We want to project, and we're always running towards the future. The last bit part of it, what I would rather say, and this is a, well, anyway, I mean, in the panelists itself, I'm trying to question this because Sir beautifully mentioned about the whole concept. Very interesting, and thank you for that. Sir, like let's split open the GDP now. Let's split it open. The sectors, the primary sectors are agriculture, manufacturing, and your service. Agri sector contributes maybe 20%, 15 to 20%, give or take. Your manufacturing sector again 15 to 20%, give or take. Service sector contributes 60%. Now, the population that is engaged in agricultural sector is 65% of the population. Now, my coming back to the question, the capital outlay, what we are talking about, the penetration, the trickle down effect of that capital, I mean, it's very hard for me to fathom and see, sir. Because you're talking, I mean, 15% of the GDP is just the 65% people are depending on it. And we are trying to serve the population, the rest 35% divided by 2 and whatever manufacturing and other part of it. And that is where we are pushing the money. That, I mean, that like, you know, I just, it's quite a thing to fathom for me.
Dharmendra sir, I think you can respond to sir.
Yeah, just allow me 2 minutes.
Sir, there is another question that is domestic debt of the nation is 150 to, I am not getting the handwriting up, even after reading so many answer sheets for the last 23 years. 17 less gross last year, budget proposes steep increase as interest on loan and 3.5 lakh crores towards principal payment. I hope you understand, sir. I am missing some words in between. If market borrowings grow at this rate, India will face a debt trap. How to reduce debt? How to raise FD of 16.61 lakh crores without affecting capex? I hope you have understood the missed words in between. Yes, you can go ahead, sir.
I have to basically answer on 3 different questions. So let me take them one by one. The first is, are we missing out something today for a very long term goal? You know, there we have to understand whether the house is on fire today or not. You know, many people realize that house is on fire very, very late, and when half the house is burned down, they wake up and they say, oh, house was on fire. When the house is on fire, who is the last person you will call? And who is the first person you will call? The last person you call is the interior designer when your house is on fire. And the first person you call is the fire department when your house is on fire. So let us not look at, calling the interior designer at this point in time, but the fire department at this point in time, because we have to understand whether the house is on fire or not. You imagine the inflation in USA is a 40-year high. 40 years high is not a temporary phenomena, is not a short-term phenomena, is not happening once in a decade. After 40 years, we are coming to this inflation in the USA. In Europe, the inflation is at a 30 years high. In India, we don't worry about inflation because we have seen several highs in the last few decades. So for us, it's part of the course. So we are not so worried. But when you talk about the global economy and India being very much a major part of the global economy, the world economy, if you look at it from the concept of whether house is on fire, yes, the economic house of the world is on fire. And if we accept that, we have to understand and frame our policies from that perspective rather than from giving temporary reliefs and temporary benefits. So I hope that answers the first part of the question. The second part of the question is whether we are doing enough for the economy to generate growth. Look at the issues which the present government is facing. A, it has to pay 50,000 plus crore debts of Air India. Cannot be postponed any further because Air India is sold out and that has to be paid. B, it has to pay 45,000 crores debts of BSNL. it cannot be postponed any further because otherwise BSNL has to be shut down. And BSNL employs some crazy number of 3 lakh people or something like that. So 1 lakh crores government has to pay this year just to pay the debts of these two public sector undertakings, which cannot be postponed any further. The government has very sensibly realized that in the last 1 year, state government has also spent a lot of money on fighting COVID. All the COVID patients don't go to private hospitals. 90% or 80% of the COVID patients go to the government camps, government set up hospitals. Only 10 or 15% go to the private hospital. Where is that money coming from? State government is spending. State government has lost on tremendous revenue, be it stamp duty, be it state excise, be it part of GST. Who is going to compensate the state government? State government is not able to do any capital investment. Sensibly enough, in this budget, 1 lakh crore has been given to the state government for infrastructure on 50 years interest-free loan basis. Where is that money going to come from? The third aspect, the earlier bonds which were issued by the UPA regime, which is called petro bonds. Now they are maturing year after year. Now that has to be brought onto the balance sheet of the central government. That was outside the balance sheet when it was issued 10 years back. Now government is bringing that into the balance sheet of the government and is accounted as a kind of repayment of liability. From where is that money going to come from? Our fiscal deficit is already very high. We cannot risk the global down rating of our country. If that happens, our economy will be in a real difficult spot at this precarious time. We cannot afford to do that. So try to understand where the government is coming from. What is the current economic scenario? We have had it very easy this year because of a lot of management done by both the state governments and the central government. We have not been allowed to face the difficult scenario. But it doesn't mean that we are not in a difficult scenario. We are in a difficult scenario. Always remember, don't get carried away by the stock market boom. Correct. During the time of pandemics and war, the corporates or the rich people make the maximum money. Now the rich people and the corporates are represented in the stock exchange in terms of Sensex. Their profits go up. With the last year or the current year, what I mean, GDP and inflation, if you add, we are looking at 14% real growth, nominal growth, 14% this year. The corporate profits are growing by 25%, 30%. This year we have the bonanza of higher GST, correct, higher income tax. This bonanza will not be available next year. Lot of economists and newsreader anchors are asking this question to the government. Are you underestimating the revenue growth and going for the budget? Yes, they are underestimating because this kind of higher profits will not be available next year to the corporates. This kind of, what is the nominal growth estimated in this budget? Some 11.2% or something of that sort. Whereas the current year's nominal growth will be close to 14.5%. We are estimating 3% lower nominal growth. Why? Because we have to bring inflation under control. What is nominal growth? Real GDP plus inflation. If inflation comes down, nominal growth comes down. So based on the very correct evaluation of the system, the nominal growth has been estimated this year at around 11.5% thereabout. And based on that, the taxation revenue is expected to grow by both direct taxes as well as GST by only 13.5% thereabout. Whereas GST current year has grown by more than 25%. It's not going to be repeated in the next year. So that answers the, more or less all the other questions.
Yes. So I'm going to some specific questions now. Sir Narayan sir, there are 745 districts in our country. 75 digital banking units in 75 districts to support rural farmers and senior citizens. Going with the Amrut Mahotsav. Don't you think that number could have been more? Why only 75?
Yeah, actually it's a start. It's a beginning now. Uh, the first thing is you would have seen ICICI Bank in private sector had already started. Uh, Students should have seen a beautiful advertisement also saying that from their house, my branch is that open. And not only that, my branch is this house, Akshara house or this house or whatever is his house, like that. Now, the budget proposes it for public sector banks. The clear word is public sector banks, 75 digital banks. Now, when it is a digital bank, probably with the 75 digital banks, they can cover a long, double the districts also, because there may not be details have not come, but it may not be restricted. And once it is a digital banking, I feel even one digital bank also can cover the entire country if it is having the proper infrastructure, especially IT infrastructure. So that is where thing. And one more thing, very interesting thing government has done is that all the post offices core banking has been brought, because post offices once they are brought into core banking, they can issue cards and ATM even for my account in a rural post office, I can come to a city and draw through a ATM.
I would like to draw an interesting statistic, sir. I think all young people should find out what is the average age of employees in the post office to initiate the core banking services. This is also very, very important. So that's very important because people working in post office should also understand the kind of leverage that they can have through technology. Just by giving core banking solutions, replication or duplication of services of what the banks are already doing. So when you say 1.5 lakh post office offices, in the country, I think 50,000, more than 50,000 would only be doing the duplication what the bank is doing. It is the limited remote areas where we have the business correspondents. Maybe those areas will be more useful. Sir, next question is on battery swapping. Battery swapping policy. You made an initial remark, so possibly I can go along with sir. I believe now we have a two-wheeler electric vehicle. Sir very rightfully said I need to decide to buy within March. They are starting their delivery in March because I booked one. We say either you can have ownership of the battery or battery swapping proper. They have given three options for the buyers. Now, when you mentioned about leasing, when I take a battery on lease, don't you think that will also generate revenue to the government instead of battery charging, which will only increase or consume little more units at my place and again easily run without any cost for maybe the next 5-6 years. So don't you think battery swapping is in disguise a revenue generation model for the government? That is my question.
Well, you know what? Let me start it this way. I will stay on the. Let me start with the technical side. Yeah. I will get to this part of it. Let me say what is the negative part of it is. Then we'll get to the positive part. So negative part is the most interesting part. See, now I'll just give you. See, this is the battery in your vehicle. Okay. You have discharged it. You go to a leasing guy. He will take this one. Give you this one. Comparatively charged one.
Not new one, charged one.
Charged one. Now the question. Now there's a lot of intricacies that needs to be addressed. The point is this was given a very interesting question whether the manufacturer himself gave you whether the vehicle manufacturer himself gave you this or this particular battery. I don't know who. How do you know that this battery? You gave him a new battery. You gave the lease guy the new battery. He gives you some battery. What A and B, you don't know the technical differences. It might conk out also. At any point of time when you're going somewhere, those remedies and those intricacies have not been addressed part of it. Right now, the model is not clear on hey, you know what, the manufacturer is now free from this. It's only the lease guys who's going to handle this. That time it's all good for you because your warranty is going to be provided by the lease guy. He's going to address that. Even this conks out, you can go to the lease guy and tell him. Now, at this point of time, this guy, if you go and tell him, boss, you gave me this and this is incorrect. Hey, you know what? That is yours only. How, what mechanism is there for you to fight and all that? So these are the technical part of it. Because what happened is lithium, there is a fundamental problem with lithium which is not being addressed, which is the major problem with the problem with lithium is the charging part of it. What people are talking about, fast charging. You know the problem with that fast charging, the power electronics, that is the electronics to push the current, is all fantastic. The what is in the battery, the anode, cathode, material part of it, whether they are capable enough to absorb that, and you know whether they will survive for that long, that is not understood. Correct. So now we are pushing with madness that we want to do fast charging and all that. Now let me come back to your point of it, that the second part of the question what you raised,
the revenue part.
The revenue part of it. Hey, you know what? Of course, the government is going to earn money on this. Of course, the government is in terms of taxes. I do leases. Whatever I do leasing, I mean, somebody is going to get money out of it. Somebody is going to make income out of it. Somebody is going to generate taxes out of it, and that taxes has to be given. So obvious, there's no this thing at all that battery as a service is a good. I mean, it's one model which is interesting. There are several models that are going to come now.
Correct.
This is one model which is being pushed. They're thinking that what is the main intention behind this? The main intention behind this battery as a service model is addressing range anxiety. For you, you're just going over there and you say that, hey, you know what, I got 120 kilometers. At least there is another battery swap. You just swap your battery. You just swap your battery and then you continue with your this thing. Now, sir he has a electric vehicle and he has this fast charging problem. He was mentioning that to me. So, there is a fundamental problem here. You know what? Once you have battery swapping, yes, that question will be addressed. You can keep increasing the range. Now, 120 kilometers, then after that, 240. The technology is going to improve. But
okay.
Yeah, to answer your question, yes, revenues will be earned. There's no about government. Government will make money.
One very personal question. How many years do you feel India will have a good EV ecosystem if anyone wants to buy an electric vehicle from this time?
Well, let's put it, as I told you again, in a EV, 40 to 50% of the cost is battery, that too lithium battery. As of right now, pretty much there are only three big countries which have lithium source. The biggest is China. All your lithium comes from China. Then you have Bolivia, South America, and Chile. These are the 2-3 countries which have the lithium. Now, fundamentally, if you're going lithium way, I see there's a fundamental problem. You're going to hit the roadblock. You're going to hit on the wall. Well, that's an interesting thing what Reliance has done now. They have started focusing on sodium-ion batteries.
Okay.
So they have actually purchased a company in UK for sodium-ion. And sodium, the good part is the material is available in plenty everywhere.
Okay.
So resource.
So not dependent on specific few countries.
So answer your question in the larger scheme of things. Right now, with our energy, with oil money, we are pushing it to the Gulf, and we are always having a big import issue. With lithium, the problem will come. We'll be pushing the money outside the country again for lithium batteries.
Yes. Thank you.
That is a bigger picture.
Yes. Thank you. One final question. Crypto taxation. All the young people who are all very much crazy about cryptos. I have a personal take on crypto taxation because I have spoken to a very young chartered accountant who is an expert, an authority, I should say. So possibly I would like to listen from the panelists. What is your take? There are few questions also that were sent by students. It is no longer a currency because currency can be, digital currency is only that which is issued by RBI. Meghna, is your question relating to that? Okay, I think you can ask your question.
So considering that we are reaching the metaverse situation, I mean, has everybody knowledge of metaverse, like a fully digitalized environment in a 3D software? So considering we are going into that phase, and the metaverse currency is NFTs and cryptocurrencies, why is it that we are discouraging generations, I mean the young generations, from actually trading in them? It's not, I'm not talking about it in the, I mean, I understand the difficulties, I understand the problems, but see, we are going, I mean, the US has already accepted it, the Europe, some
Many of the countries have taken
Yeah,
it as their currency, legal
they've
tender.
taken it, but India is very discouraging. I mean, first of all, okay, I understand RBI has tried to make a new cryptocurrency for themselves, but it completely reduces the whole point. The whole point of having a cryptocurrency is that it is decentralized. But the fact that RBI is starting to print out its new cryptocurrency just means it's centralized. And that just destroys the whole point.
Yes.
Yeah.
The
And
flavor,
then,
I
okay,
should say.
no, that's not the only point. The second point is that the taxation 30% on the profit of your crypto. Okay, and not only that, profit, if it's a profit, then the government takes it. If it's a loss, then no set off also. So, what is the.
So one point that I would like to add, all young people, just I quoted some 4 months back, those who are into cryptos may commit suicide. To my people I had mentioned this. Simple reason was because there was a likely ban. So 30% tax is far better than banning cryptos, which the government anyway could not have done. So it is better to tax. Sir, SS Naik, your thoughts.
See,
Sir.
there is a confusion in the minds of the people, digital rupee and cryptocurrency. Digital rupee is nothing to do with the cryptocurrency. Again and again I am
No. That is very
Once
clear,
again,
sir.
once
That is
again,
very clear.
once again,
Anything other
digital-
than issued, other than by RBI is digital asset.
No.
Transactions.
No. 1 minute. Digital rupee is to avoid note printing costs. And it is like any other now, Paytm and other Bharat Pay and all. The RBI is going to make a separate that digital rupee this under their control. 1 minute. The cryptocurrency, that is entirely different. Like your commodity market, like your share market, it is a crypto market. Okay. Since it is not recognized who is the controller, who is the father, who is the mother, nobody knows in cryptocurrency. So somebody asked me also in Red FM, they asked, what is cryptocurrency? I told, cryptocurrency trading, if you do, millionaire can become billionaire, billionaire can become millionaire also. So because we ourselves, we don't know how it will be traded, how it will be mining, all those things. It is easy to say, but it is unknown domain. So that's why they want to discourage. In case, if you want to take risk and do the business, what government is saying, if you do profit, give me the tax, that's all. And in the same year, if you make profit loss in the crypto, it will be set off. But cryptocurrency, under the cryptocurrency, whatever loss cannot be set off against any other income. Even speculation also same system. Even carry forward losses also they have not mentioned. So that means it is 100% to discourage crypto. 30% tax. Another thing is, except cost of acquisition, any other cost associated with the cryptocurrency, no deductions, and any transaction above the threshold limit had to be mentioned, 1% TDS is to be made. That is the law, that is the announcement in the budget, as I know.
Sir, I would like to, sir, would you like to add anything to what sir said?
Just add one more thing.
Yeah.
See, we have to understand that taxation is on any income which is generated not only within India or outside India, but by Indians. Whether you are buying a foreign asset and selling a foreign asset outside the domain of India, still it's taxable. So many of the young people may not understand. This Vodafone case.
It's exciting for young people to be online and buying something.
Say like Vodafone case. When the company was taken over, the shares got transferred internationally. Correct. Government wanted to tax it, but that time the provision was not there in the act. They brought a new law with retrospective effect, which the Supreme Court finally said no, nothing to it.
That was the biggest mistake that the UPA government did.
So whatever income, if it's earned by an Indian, government has the authority to tax it. Second issue, the morality of taxation. Taxation has no morality. If you are a robber, if you declare that I have robbed someone this year and I made 10 lakhs income, you have to pay tax. You are a smuggler, you have made money as a smuggler. If you declare it, you have to pay tax. How is crypto profit different from that? It's still an electronic profit which you are making, which you are bringing through the banking system. So I am really surprised why the government didn't tax the crypto income for all these years.
No, the idea was the government had no idea what it is.
So it should have been taxed. It has been brought this year. Now the nitty gritty of why it is 30%, why it is not at par with equity shares, why losses are not allowed to
Set
be carried
off,
forward or set off. Those are all small nitty gritties which government may look at it in the years to come.
Okay. Now I would like to throw a little light on how crypto dealing works. This is from an expert, and also I would like to share, if you want to undergo a course on cryptocurrency, I'll just share a small website. You can do your 10 years course, a 10 hours course, I beg your pardon, not years, 10 hours course on crypto. It will be very, very clear. So I'll share that particular link with you also. Now there are two kinds of dealings in cryptos. One is peer to peer, that is under the table transaction. No government in this world will know that transaction has happened, because crypto doesn't leave a paper trail at all. It is an algorithm based dealing. Only issue that I can understand, Dharmendra sir is laughing, because if I sell, money comes to my bank account, government will definitely question kahan se aaya. Money can also be brought in small amounts also, different names as well. All these are very much a possibility because there is absolutely no paper trail. Second is through exchange. The WazirX, the Binance, the Coinbase, these are all exchanges where they have taken the KYC norms, and people are dealing through all these sites. So when I want to deal in cryptos through these exchanges, I need to submit my KYC, my Aadhaar, my PAN, everything is submitted. So what taxation we are talking about, 30%, is through these exchanges only, not the peer-to-peer transaction. Why I raise this point is, people who are dealing through exchanges now have 2 month time. Already 4 days are gone. By 31st of March, 90% is going to shift to peer-to-peer, and number of people trading through exchanges is going to come down, because young India is very intelligent. They know how to avoid taxes. I won't use the word evade taxes. How to avoid taxes, they are very, very clear. And I believe this course on cryptos, if you go through, you will realize, because it leaves only numbers. Who has sold it, who has purchased it, there is absolutely no idea. Those who deal in cryptos know it very clearly. Because I have my cousin who is little education wise a little behind, but crypto wise far ahead than the government. That is what I can say. And one major issue, sir, just my last take, definition of cryptos as given in the budget section. I think it's section 2, clause 47A. I'll just read out, and there is issue with only 2 words in that. Any information or code or number or token not being Indian currency or foreign currency, generated through cryptographic means or otherwise by whatever name called, providing a digital representation of value exchange with or without consideration, with the promise, that is one word, or representation of having inherent value or functions as a store of value or a unit of account, including its use in any financial transaction or investment, but not limited to investment scheme, and can be transferred, stored, or traded electronically. The issue is with 2 words. One is token, another one is promise. In crypto dealings, no one promises any amount to anyone. You invest a 39,000 today, buying that one Bitcoin, a portion of it. Tomorrow it will be worth 5 rupees only. So there is no question of the word promise in the entire crypto dictionary. And second is token. I said there is no question of token because there is no paper trail at all. So the question is, how can the government tax the peer-to-peer transaction? Exchanges number is going to go down in the next 2 months. Sir, your takes.
See, any income that you earn is liable to taxation if you are an Indian citizen. The trail of crypto profits of crypto transaction is through your bank account. If you do not operate through bank, there is no way the government can come to know. Or if you operate through a bank where the bank account is opened in a tax-free haven and you are clever enough not to disclose it to the Indian authorities, the government will never come to know what transactions you are doing and what banking transactions have happened, because that is beyond the purview of the government. So still there are a lot of such tax avoidance or tax evasion possibilities in crypto. It's not that it does not exist, but maybe over a period of time government will figure out how to deal with it. So finally it will all be dealt with.
Yes, and I mentioned about a site where you can what is it, do your course on cryptocurrency if you are interested. It is Indigo Learn Blockchain. The name of the site is Indigo, INDIGOLEARN blockchain. It's a 10 hours course, and you can get a certificate on cryptos also. And realize you still have 2 months time, so you can act fast. Do that course by tomorrow and deal in cryptos. So possibly, I believe there was a great value addition listening to all the experts on different aspects of the budget. And I would really like to thank Srinivas University, all the head honchos of Srinivas University, Madam Kirtana, Sir Aital, and all the participants, both physically present and virtual, for giving us this wonderful opportunity. Sorry, I'm concluding on behalf of everyone. So, giving us this wonderful opportunity to share our thoughts on this budget. And I believe, as the theme rightly mentioned, Voice of Young India, and I believe we have analyzed the budget to the level that all the people here amidst us, have understood this. So once again, a big thank you on behalf of all the panel members. So thank you once again. Over to the organizers. Sir, would you like to some concluding thoughts, Sir Naik sir? Yes.
Conclusion is very simple. Let's not keep very high hopes. As I already told, let's compliment for the growth of the nation. Always we should think nation first, then I am next. But the problem in India is I am first, then nation pahad mein gaya. That thinking we should not have. What we should think that at the particular situation, at this juncture, what the government has done, that decision we should respect. Raja Pratyaksha Devata. Any law of the country, once it is passed in the Lok Sabha or Parliament, we should respect it and we should go ahead with that. Whatever thinking, whatever discussions we can make now, but government has already invited pre-budget memorandum. During that time, all were sleeping. Nobody is interested in giving pre-budget memorandum. Okay, now also it is only finance bill, not finance act. Post-budget memorandum can also be given through our elected representatives. But our elected representatives, the sorry state of affairs is, ruling party always supports whatever they have done. Opposition party opposes whatever ruling party has done. This is the problem. They should represent the real problems of the people, and people should give pre-budget memorandum. They should call for post-budget memorandum meetings with the people. They should collect this gist and they should give all these gist to the finance ministry, and they should take some decision in the Lok Sabha. Then there can be some changes or amendments can be done. Otherwise, just it is a debate without any this. We say there is a saying, no, meeting is a place. No, meeting is a place where discussion takes place without any decision.
Where hours are wasted and minutes are recorded.
Yeah, then that is the only thing now. So to avoid this, whatever it may be, we have already given our inputs. Let us send some inputs to them, Finance Ministry or CBDT for tax measures, anything. We have to make our efforts. Whether they listen to us or not, it is left to them. But people can make effort. Chamber of Commerce is there. Then our our institute is also the Institute of Chartered Accountants of India. We are also doing the same thing. Let's have a frank opinion of the people. Then we can report it to the Finance Ministry so that they can take decisions. That's all. Thank you very much for giving us opportunity to have a wonderful discussion, and it's my pleasure to participate in our this Srinivas University this budget session. That is our CA Raghavendra Rao is guru, mentor, guide for all our chartered accountants in Mangalore, and he is ably supported by our Dr. Srinivas Rao also now. Second generation also joining. It is very nice. So let's hope for the many more discussions of this type involving not only your students but also general public, so that our university will rank still at higher place. Thank you very much.
Thank you, sir. Thank you. Over to the organizer.
Thank you all the panel members for your fruitful discussion, and special thanks to Professor Manoj Lewis for moderating the session very smoothly. Now I invite Ms. Meghana Rao to speak a few words to our audience.
Good evening to everyone. I am very glad that I was a part of such a great panel today, and of course, I am pretty sure I cannot meet their caliber of knowledge and facts, but I will try my level best. Yeah. Okay. We can raise, yes, we can raise. First and foremost, I think 2022, but like Sir said, like 2020, even 2022 was a guideline, a deadline for so many schemes that the government had promised. Mainly having 24-hour electricity in all rural households, including water supply for every village. They even had the promise about bullet train to be issued by this year. I think that was a 2018 headline of some newspaper. But sadly, I'm not sure if that is possible. But being a youth, it is my duty and job to be as cynical and skeptical of the union budget as possible. But this year actually promises a lot more difference. Uh, First of all, kudos to the government for not being a populist budget. That was a huge change and not at all what we as a youth expected. Thinking about as a youth, we'd like to focus more on the PM Gati Shakti scheme, which is brilliant. To be honest, it's extremely brilliant because he finally plans to develop the national infrastructure pipeline. Okay, this is revolutionary. Plus, a 25,000 kilometer wide highway is created, including 400 new Vande Bharat trains. After the first one failed in the first travel itself. This is a great stride that they have taken. Second thing is, I'm extremely happy to know that that 200 or 2000 kilometer of railway is under the coverage to have more infrastructure, more development, digitization and such, which is amazing to know. And this also includes the Betwa River project, which is apparently supposed to give about 9 lakh hectare farmlands to have more water in Madhya Pradesh and UP section. That's actually brilliant and great to hear that our government is doing such strides, and definitely not a populist budget. But as a youth, we'd like to think about two or three main regions. One is, of course, healthcare, second, education, and other, of course, cryptocurrencies and other such things, 5G auction and everything. Uh, I'm extremely proud to know that the healthcare system finally has recognized mental health as one of their major strides. WHO recently published a report saying that about 1 in 4 people in every household is suffering through some um mental sort of disorder or disease. And it's great to know that they finally held a national tele mental health scheme, which is great to know. Which is finally great to know that someone in the Indian society has accepted mental health as something to be proud of. So yeah, a lot of people, including students, going through depression, anxiety, panic attacks. They don't have any other way to focus. They don't have any other way to vent out. Especially in Indian households, there are no friends and families for mental disorder. There's always a stigma against that. So, it's great to know that they have accepted it and recognized it and done something about it. Second, of course, education. Pretty exciting. 1.4 lakh crores worth of budget is based on this, and I think that's how they created the e-classrooms, one class, one TV rule, which is amazing. And again, another factor is, of course, them teaching the students and having this kind of digitization to be brought forward. And I mean, good to know that our government is actually focusing on our modern day youth. I mean, they have actually accepted cryptocurrency despite all the grievances. They've actually accepted, and like Sir said, instead of banning, they've actually done something. They've actually done something productive about it. So, all in all, being a youth, I'm extremely glad to know that our government has done something and is more youth oriented right now. I mean, it's great to know that they've modernized the budget and of course not focused on mere political issues as such. So yeah, great to be here, great to learn so many new facts from such great panelists. So yeah, thank you so much for inviting me.
Thank you, Ms. Meghna Rao, for your thought provoking words. It is famously quoted, without inspiration, the best powers of the mind remain dormant. There are fuel in us which needs to be ignited with sparks. And to ignite our minds with inspirational words, I request our Honorable Chancellor, Dr. C.A. Raghavendra Rao, President of today's program on Union Budget 2022, to deliver the presidential remarks. I request the Pro Chancellor, Dr. A. Srinivas Rao, to speak a few words.
Chancellor Sri Raghavendra Rauji, other dignitaries on the dais. Well, first of all, I thought I could escape now because she directly told Chancellor can speak. I thought I'll escape because there were a panel of experts who have given a lot of information about the budget. And in fact, I had not prepared. Just I came, I just saw, I was understanding you to say a few words. Fine. Let me start like this. Just a few days back, I saw one WhatsApp message. What was the message? 31st January, the so-called Indian economists were 842. 1st February, there were 3 lakh economists. 2nd February, there were 2 lakh 50,000 economists. Finally, 3rd February, it is 842 economists. So this is what is happening. And I'm sure here it is, we are in the 4th February. They are all panel of experts who are permanent economists. Well, coming now to the budget part of it. Now, what is a budget? Every time we say budget, budget, budget. Every year it comes, it goes. What is a budget? It is basically a government is planning what it has to do in the next 1 year with whatever revenue it can gain and whatever expenditure they have to allocate to a particular activities. So this is what is in a broad nutshell we say that this is the budget. And what happens every time, of late I can say, whenever a government comes out with a budget, there is a problem. You know why? The problem is most of them are disappointed. When we analyze why these people are disappointed, public in general are disappointed. Why? Because 15 days before the budget, we start getting opinions. Budget should be like this, budget should be like that. They should be. And this time I have seen one more thing. They told that in Indian government will waive off the entire income tax, so no more income tax. So this kind of statements I have seen in the budget. So what happens? Everyone is very anxious. Oh, this budget, it's very glorious budget. We expect a lot of things. Yes, this is going to happen. It's going to happen. Finally, when they announce the budget, what happens? It is a regular thing what the government is activity is going on, the expenditure is there. For that they have to recover it by the revenue. This is what is the understanding, and this is what is happening every year. So the disappointment will be there, and finally it evades because it gets regularized. Now the issue, one more which is coming up is, see, this aspect is not covered anywhere. We all are discussing about the budget. We all are discussing about pre-budget. We all are discussing, okay, post-budget till 31st March. What happens after that? Nobody knows. Over. Everything is over. Now, 1st April, it takes care. It goes on. This is the tax. This is the revenue. This is the expenditure. Everything goes on. What happens after that? Nobody has taken the stand. Because 1st February budget is over. Discussion happens. 15 days there will be here and hula hula. Everything will happen. Then finally, nothing will happen. People will be quiet. I want an activity to happen wherein either 31st March or 1st April, we all should meet again and find out a review of the old budget. What has happened? Where they have done? What is the performance? Nobody is doing that. Over the years, I have seen nobody is taking care of what has happened. Only the estimate is done, estimate of income, estimate of expenditure. Finally, there is a fiscal deficit or there is a deficit or something happens there. Nothing is mentioned like what is allocated, what has been utilized. See, I am sure that most of the allocated revenue or allocated income to a particular expenditure is not utilized to the fullest extent. It is almost, you can see any activity, any nature of expenditure, you see, it is not utilized to the fullest extent. So, what happens to the revenue? What we know that there is a fiscal deficit, we know that there is little bit surplus or something nearby there or something, all those things we know, but what happens to the actual happenings there, nobody has taken thought of it. I wish that we come out with one more session like this wherein we understand what the government is doing and what exactly, if there is a proper utilization of the fund, we can say we have an active government. I know in many, not now, many years ago, there was a big allocation for a particular development activity which did not take up at all. And when it did not take up, what happened to the allocation? Nobody knows. So this kind of things has to be taken as a serious probe and find out what exactly is the budget. When we know that the estimate and the actuals can be almost, we can match it, almost match it. I don't say that we'll be matching it 100%. It may almost match it if we analyze and know what exactly is happening after this. Well, now coming to the budget part of it, what is happening? It is the voice of young India, what we are expecting. And I expected that, and the same thing happened. The questions started coming about the cryptocurrency. Well, see, the government this time has come out. All these years there was nothing, there was no new source of revenue. This year there is a new source of revenue to the government, that is the cryptocurrency. Now, cryptocurrency, just they come out with a nutshell. The cryptocurrency we are going to tax. They also are not aware what exactly is cryptocurrency. They have to find out. It takes time for them. I know that 1 or 2 years there will be flaw in the system. There will be so many mismanagement. Everything will happen in the system. But definitely over a period of time, they may be able to control the cryptocurrency. When I say cryptocurrency, yes, what has happened? There was an ambiguity whether cryptocurrency is legal or illegal. So far, government wanted it to be, they moved it to be illegal. That's what the discussion was. It should be illegal. But now, taxing the cryptocurrency makes it legal. And now, when I say it is legal, it is only the cryptocurrency, that is a Bitcoin or any other kind of currencies, which the person is owning. will be legal when he pays the tax for it. That is 30%. This is what is the understanding as of now. But it will not be a legal tender money. It can be only just what we can say it as a keeping a gold, keeping a diamond in store, just like that, keeping the cryptocurrency. And for the future generation, I want to say the young India, the prominence will be on the blockchain technology. So the new avenue has come up, and that has got a lot of potential. You can explore it as your moderator has given you 10 hours of training program, whatever he has told, that can be adopted and you can become expert in the cryptocurrency. The government now will come out with a legal tender money, that is electronic legal tender money, that will be circulated. Of course, it has got many strength and weaknesses also. That has to be taken care by the RBI, and then only it has to be introduced. It may probably in the days to come they may plan for introducing those legal tender money. Well, this is a new beginning in the budget, and we appreciate the government in coming out with some of the changes. It may be a little bit late, but it has come. It is better late than never, what we say. Coming now to the taxation part, the most sort of and easy way of taxing is increase the excise duty for petrol. Your fuel, if it is increased, automatic everything, there is a cascading effect, and everywhere the tax will be increased and the revenue collection will be more. Probably if the electronic vehicle comes up, we do not know what exactly will be the new avenue of taxation, because the source will be limited, and what will happen to the government revenue has to be thought of. This is my observation, and as we have very brainstorming discussion and exercise here, and the knowledge you have imbibed with a lot of knowledge here. I thank all of you for participating and supporting the issue. Thank you very much, and thank you.
Thank you, sir, for sharing your thoughts and inspiring our young minds. Now I request our Honorable Chancellor, Dr. C.A. Raghavendra Rao, President of today's program on Union Budget 2022, to deliver the presidential remarks.
All panel speakers, panel speakers, dignitaries on the dais, and executives. I was not venturing to speak today because I don't have a voice today. Since last 1 week, I have got heavy throat congestion. But with all that, I was very happy the way the things were presented by Manoj, how he controlled, how he moderator, and the material given by Mehta is very practical. And S.S. Naik, as a chart accountant, he has reviewed it. And Mr. Rai, he has done it a wonderful job. And Mr. Narayan Bhatt, Narayan Bhatt, yes, banker, he has suggested what all things can be done. And Sharad Rao, I have got a question. Of course, you did not answer it. We were induced to put up solar plants, and we have done it. On putting that, the government is collecting the revenue again on that, because we produce, we have installed it, and the government current is produced by sun, and the levy is paid to the government. Then the excess current is used by government, and I think until now they are not paying anything. I think now there is a new scheme, but until now they were not paying it. Suppose we produce current by generator, still there is some levy on that. It is when they do not supply the current, if you operate the standby generator, we have to pay levy on that. What is this system of the government? I cannot understand. That means you are curbing the initiative of the public. Private sector initiative is curbed in every respect, I tell you. See, that should be stopped. And another thing, when Mr. Sharath, yes. Another thing, I was very happy when the income tax people said that we are introducing self-assessment. Because we thought that the torture of going to the income tax office by the SSE and waiting there is stopped. His time is saved. But what happened? Now he has to spend more time on that because every self-assessment contains not less than 10 mistakes. Not less than 10 mistakes. And rectification takes at least 10 petitions and 10 months. What is this self-assessment? And many a times I tell you, when the stay petition is there, the our assessment, of course, is always on the that is credit side of the income they see and assess it. They don't allow any expenditure because what I feel is that most of the assessments, self-assessment is done by on contract basis only by untrained people. And to set it right, it takes time. And on the demand raised on such assessment, immediately show cause notice is issued. Why you have not paid? Then we ask the stay. They say maximum stay is 20% they will give. Balance you have to pay. Whether it is several crores or some small amount, you have to pay it. And meanwhile, we have appealed. And we say we have appealed. Then they say the matter is referred to the collection, bank for collection of your FD. What is this? Unless you train people in handling such things, new system. Now, of course, this currency is coming, the digital currency. Unless you train people, if you introduce, because this is illiterate India, 50% of the people do not have education even today. How to cope up with that? That practical aspect should be studied, and then only it should be introduced in a proper way. Now, coming to the bad NPS and the other loans which was suggested by Mehta, I do admit many cases classified as NPA are not really non-performing assets. If they are performing assets, only thing is either because of the society conditions in the society or in the policy of the government, there may be deferment of the payment. See, all borrowers do not think that they are not paying it. They will always take the loan with an idea of taking it. The former principle of advance was look to the character of the borrower and advance the loan. But now it is not like that. You want a project report, you want so many things. And I asked my banker when he asked the project report to give it to project. I said, you prepare it. I do not know whether I will realize it or not, whether I will get that much of sales or not. I have to prepare the expenditure, estimated expenditure, and I may realize, I may not realize the income side of it. How can I prepare? Then he said, it doesn't matter. I said, see, this is what happens. Why unrealistic? You see the person and give the loan. Whether he has got a real intention or a real project, then it should be advanced. See, the policy, budget policies also should include such things, some modern ideas wherein progress should be done. I have gone for bank audit in 1961, I tell you, to Kerala. That is Calicut branch of one nationalized bank. Of course, now it is not there. It has merged with some other bank. There was, at that time, there was a borrower on the tile factory had taken 7 lakhs loan and they could not pay it because of some problem in the factory itself, labor strike, so many things were there. But the borrower was very honest. He said, I will pay the loan. You give me another 3 lakhs. I will pay the loan. Give me some time, I will pay the loan. The branch manager did not accept it. Proposal went to the head office. The division manager did not accept it. The credit general manager did not accept it. The top brass who were to sanction the loan did not accept it. But when the dynamic managing director of that time, Mr. T.F.I., I think most of you must be knowing it, he visited the branch, the same customer approached him. He said, where is your petition? He said, this is the petition. He drew one line he has drawn and said, yes, sanction. See, this is the person who could see what is happening in future. We want such administrators. We have to train such administrators. And that is why when our Vice Chancellor said that we are conducting a budget session today, budget discussion today, and on seeing the panel, I said, go ahead, because there are so many finance ministers who are sitting in front of me, future finance ministers, who are people who are handling the banks, who are handling the other financial aspects. So they should know what is happening in the field, and they should be real financial advisor, financial executives. This is the idea with which we have trained, and I want more participation from the students. Such session should be done for the whole day, so that every student should come up and discuss this matter, and he should know what is happening in the country, so that he can mold his character to become a next executive of the Reserve Bank governor. With this, there was a very intelligent discussion today. I am very happy about it. But the way the questions were asked, probably I think students should be allowed to come to the dais and ask the question boldly. And panel people, panel will give the direction how to mend the things, and whatever is good. And as my granddaughter said, youth, they are the people who, in whose hands the country is there. Next 10 years, they will be ruling the country, and they should know what is happening. And with this idea, we have got plans to train our young students in all aspects, whether it is MBA, BA, BCom, or engineering. They should be practical people. They should be able to rule the country when an opportunity comes. This idea of this panel, I thank you. Very intelligent discussion was there, and the moderator was exceptionally nice and tactful in handling the very ticklish matters. So I am very happy. I thank all of you for having been with us and participated very actively. Thank you very much.
Thank you, sir, for your inspiring words. May I now request our Honorable Chancellor, Dr. C.A. Raghavendra Rao, President of today's program, to give away the memento to the dignitaries on the dais as a token of our love and respect. I request the dignitaries to kindly receive the memento. C.A. Dharmendra B. Mehta, C.A. S.S. Naik, Mr. P.B. Harish Rai, Professor Manoj Lewis, Dr. Sharath Rao, Dr. Narayan Kayarkatte, thank you, sir. This program on Union Budget 2022 was made possible by many hands, hearts, and minds. To express a word of appreciation and gratitude, we have with us Professor Amit Menezes from Department of Master of Business Administration to propose the vote of thanks.
All good things have to come to an end. I, Amit Menezes, the coordinator of MBA program, deem this a privilege to thank the dignitaries. First and foremost, I would like to thank our beloved Chancellor, Dr. C.A. Raghavendra Rao ji. He has been an inspiration to us all. In this age, with this busy schedule, he has taken up and come here all the way to be with us and be a motivation to all of us. Thank you, sir. Next, I would like to thank Dr. A. Srinivas Rao, our Pro-Chancellor, who was instrument for this budget session. It was his brainchild. We were doing it before, but it was lost somewhere. So, sir told us, why not we ignite this? So, this ignition came from sir. So, I would like to thank you, sir. Thank you very much. I would like to thank Ms. Meghna Rao, the budding administrator and future CA. All the best for your studies and thank you for giving your prompt opinion about the youth here. Thank you, ma'am. And as you have seen, this panel members, I did not tell anything. They were so beautifully organized and so well done by all these panel members. So I would like to thank each and every one of the panel members, starting with CA Dharmendra B. Mehta, sir. Thank you very much. CA SS Nayak, sir. Thank you, sir. Mr. PB Harish Rai. Thank you, sir. Dr. Narayan Karkatte, sir. Thank you, sir. Dr. Sharat Chandra Rao. Thank you, sir. And the devil's advocate himself, the moderator, Professor Manoj Lewis. Thank you very much. I would fail in my duty if I don't thank our Vice Chancellor, Dr. P.S. Aita. So he has been behind us to organize programs. Even though we feel why it's so late, but still it develops people. It develops the budding talent. I thank you from the bottom of our heart, sir. Thank you very much. Thanks are also due to the Dean of College of Management and Commerce, Professor Keetan Raj, who has been an inspiration. She single-handedly organized this program, the panel member, everything she did on her own. Thank you, ma'am, for everything. I would like to thank Dr. Ajay, sir, the Registrar Development. Thank you, sir. I would also like to place my thanks to all the registrars, the deans from various colleges, faculty members, research scholars, and all the students who have been with us, the MC. Thank you very much. And finally, the participants, both physical as well as virtual. You have given us lots of questions. Our panel members have answered it brilliantly. Thank you very much. And finally, the press and media who has given a wide coverage all over. Thank you very much. Thank you, one and all.
Thank you, sir. With this, we come to the end of the program. Let us all carry a thought as we disperse. Faster growth rate is essential for faster reduction in poverty. There is no other trick